Thanks for watching Diceborn. If you're interested in diving deeper into the political intrigues and mysteries of our series, there's a handy reference sheet with character descriptions and family trees in the video description, along with links to other bonus content. For more behind-the-scenes extras, consider supporting us on Patreon. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Diceborn, Secrets in Stained Glass. This is the fourth episode of our murder mystery miniseries from us here at the 17th Shard. We're telling the story using the Crafty Games' Mistborn Adventure Game rule set, using some of the content of their upcoming Golden Mandate supplements, which you'll find out more about this summer. This is the fourth episode of this series, so if you're starting here, please go back to episode 1. There'll be a playlist on YouTube or Spotify or wherever it is you're watching this. So go start episode 1. It's great. But to tell you who we are, I'm Ben, and I'm playing Lucius Lacal. And I'm joined by Verónica.
Hello. You'll know me on the 17th Shard as Cheyenne Sedai, and I am playing Eliane Venture.
I'm also joined by Ian.
Hi, I am playing Sylvain Hadriel, who's a dear sweet boy.
He is. I'm also joined by Alyx.
Hello, you might know me as Feather, and I am playing Dier Venture.
I'm also joined by Eric.
Hey, you know me as Chaos, and I'm playing Jenna Techiel, and she is good.
Jenna is good.
Always good.
Always good.
Jenna's good.
And our narrator for this lovely game is Matt.
Hey, Comatose on the forums, I guess, but or Discord, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm playing everyone else.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's who we are. And before we get started, I'm just going to hand you over to giveaway Ben for today's giveaway.
Oh, I didn't see you there. You scared me. You're here, yes, for the giveaways. Of course, you're the giveaway people. You're here for the giveaways. Well, I'm Luca Ilariel. Hello, and I've been retained to tell you about said giveaways. So let's get started, because why not? And we're all perfectly ready to talk about the giveaways. So first off, there's the Crafty Games giveaway, which is for a set of allomantic or ferrochemical dice. Ooh, very sporting. The eligibility criteria involves leaving a comment in the video below this video, and also being a subscriber to the 17 Shard YouTube channel. And if you do that, you can enter to win this giveaway. Unfortunately, this giveaway is only open to denizens of a place called the United States of America. So us Elendalites are out of luck, but maybe next time there'll be something for us. For last week, the winner of the Crafty Games giveaway is Michael Kramer, or at Michael Kramer 1122. So to claim your prize, Michael, connect with 17th Shard at 17thshard@gmail.com. And I'm guessing that mysterious organization will also reach out to you over YouTube or by some other means to try to get a hold of you. So keep a lookout, Michael. Our second giveaway comes from the Shire Post Mint, and it includes a set of Era 1 Mistborn coins. You can enter to win that giveaway by signing up for the Shire Post Mint newsletter using the link in the video description, which is some direction from me, I've been told. The winner of that giveaway will be contacted directly by Shire Post Mint each week. So keep an eye on the email you use to sign up for the newsletter. That giveaway is open worldwide, but apparently the world it's wide open in is not Scadrial. It's some other place. So sorry, Royce. I know how you like coins. So thanks again to Crafty Games and Shire Post Mint for last week's giveaways. The same giveaways are open this week, so best of harmony's luck to all of you. I'm gonna get back to whatever I was doing, which is just fine. Thank you very much. So, cheers. Oh, I scared myself. I thought there was blood in my water, but it was just raspberries. Bye.
Thanks, giveaway, Ben. So, without much further ado, Matt, would you like to get us started on our 4th episode of Secrets in Stained Glass?
Sure, absolutely. So I have 2 quick housekeeping items. So we reached some might call it key turning point last episode.
So
I don't think anything important happened in the last episode. You shouldn't rewatch it, really.
So I did decide to award some advancement points, which wasn't originally the plan for this mini campaign, but it's going longer than we expected. So that's
you thought you could
Two-shot.
get day 1 in 1 session. We're not even at midnight, Matt.
Yeah. No, I've revised my expectations for sure. So you might see some new traits or stats come up because the players have adjusted some things using their advancement points. And second, I'd just like to say it's been 3 weeks real time since our last sessions, which were recorded over the same weekend. So there's been a lot of chatter, speculation, theorizing happening. However, only Alyx and Eric, Dier and Jenna, know exactly what happened during the headphones off scene. So that part has not been spoiled, and so the other players are still in the dark.
There's lots
This has been brutal to not be able to tell
It's
everyone.
been torture.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
And everyone else has been speculating all over the place.
I know.
There's
Well,
lots
what
of.
happened?
I have connected things. I've connected them. There's been lots of that without any confirmation of whether we're on the right track or not.
Yeah.
There's lots of murder boards. And I'll also mention, give a shout out to Grace, who I think in the first episode I mentioned she was originally going to be one of the players and had to bow out. Grace has also been interrogating everyone for their secrets and is pretty far along figuring things out even without watching the episodes. So,
She hasn't watched
great.
anything. Just interrogating each of us.
Yeah.
Grace is really good at this,
I
actually.
think I
Actually, really
watched
good.
a tiny bit of Alyx editing, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So now into our recap. So we're returning to an eventful, you might say, weekend at the Alariel Country Estate, located on the bank of Lake Luthadel, near the resort community of Lakeside. And just as a reminder for our audience, it's a formerly annual weekend retreat, but this one is the first one in a couple years because of a terrible fire that killed some important people, or not important. And our group of naughty nobles contain the friends and acquaintances of Solace's niece, Maevis Alariel, and they all have kind of varying connections to the fire or its victims, and all have their own individual goals in mind. So with that, I'll turn it to the players to kind of recap where they left off last session.
Cool. And I think we're going to do like one scene from each of us. And so I will start with talking about Jenna talking to this mysterious, completely world hopper person, even though Matt doesn't want to say it, who was totally not trying to figure out if Jenna was the hero of ages, which admittedly, when I was doing that scene, I'm just as, let's say, spiritually dumb as Jenna is, and just like, I don't care. But if you look back, that's what Matt was doing, because remember, Jenna is Vin's aunt. So, which is still crazy to say out loud. I'm Vin's aunt. But yeah, Jenna was not having it. She was completely truthful with the fortune teller in all of her answers. In every single respect. And yeah, so that was fun. The fortune teller was saying, it's like, well, you know, it's always tricky to balance protecting what you have or risking more, and things might all be destroyed. You punk, Matt.
There's a lot of that going around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, for sure. And then I think we cut to Ian.
Yes,
Right?
I'm still just thrown by you lumping Sylvain in with the naughty nobles. How dare you?
Listen, there
Right.
comes a certain point.
We said this at the beginning of the first episode. Even the nicest noble is still, part of a
True.
terrible system.
True.
Yeah.
Sylvain is in the middle of a scandal for arriving unchaperoned.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So
the
naughty.
talk of the town. Everyone is talking about it.
Nothing else in the last episode was noteworthy. That's still the talk of the town for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sylvain got to dance with Addison. It was he was very nervous, and so he was not as dexterous as he would have wished, because I failed that roll. I remember that. And it was a ploy to have a quiet conversation out of sight by being in the middle of everything with Addison, because Sylvain wanted to make sure Maevis had certain pieces of information. Addison had the great line of, "These are not good people," which is true.
Jenna's good. Jenna's good. I don't know what you're talking about.
Lucius is terrible. Addison's right.
And Addison asked if Sylvain wanted her to go and tell Maevis, even though he didn't want to. He said yes. And then he just watched her walk away.
That was a fun scene. And then we'll go to Ben and Lucius.
Yes. So that evening, Lucius and Maevis had planned to hang out that evening. They had a little after-party ritual back before the fire where, once the party was winding down, they'd chill out with some Grey Fessa together, which is a little nose candy. And so he went to go visit her bedroom, and they had a little conversation where basically Maevis is not the same person she used to be. And Lucius was trying his hardest to kind of get his old friend back, but she was having none of it. And they spoke about a few things, about some rumors of Maevis and the Venture Man. Strath, thank you. And Strath Venture meeting. And Maevis revealed this was a love she had before the fire, and she was using Strath to find out more information about this secret lover that she had. Lucius made it all about himself and thought she was talking about him. She wasn't. And then he asked for a book of poetry that he lent Maevis before the fire, and he's kind of been wanting it back for his personal reasons. And she revealed that she's been using it as a diary, and that she was going to take out her pages of her diary and then give it back to him in the morning. And then he went off to bed, and as he left the room, Addison was coming into the room.
Ooh.
Addison Tenebrian.
Yeah.
And how did we leave Lucius, Ben?
Oh, he then just got high and passed out on his bed.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Let's go to Alyx, Dier. What happened next?
So after that scene, Dier, using his coin shot abilities, snuck across the roof over to Jenna's room and let himself in. Because we find out that actually Dier and Jenna have been in a nasty little secret courtship for, I don't think we actually said in the episode, but well over a year. It's been a while. And so they play this little game in public where he's harassing her and she can't stand him, but in secret they're working together. So he let her know that he had completed her latest assignment for her, violent little task to wipe out another house's ska caravan. And then they talked a little bit about he very seriously wants her to marry him, but there are political reasons why that's not a good idea. And she also would really like him to try a little bit harder. He's not very good at that, and it would be much better for her reputation if he wasn't useless. So
True.
he also then confessed to her what happened with his father, in that in the midst of an argument a few weeks ago, Dier murdered his father and has covered up that murder with the use of a family Kandra. And as far as he's aware, Eliane is the only person who knows, but the audience may have tracked that secret has spread a little further than Dier is aware of at the moment. Notably, he did not tell Jenna about his scheduled secret meeting with Maevis later that night that she wrote on his invitation. But perhaps he would have, but they were interrupted by a knock on the door from Addison. So he slipped back out the window so as not to get caught.
Yeah, and then we quickly move to a scene involving first Jenna and then Dier. So Addison came and got Jenna and asked her to come out and meet Maevis outside. And then some things happened that our players don't know about. And following that, Sylvain and Eliane were woken from their rest by Addison, and I'll let Verónica take it from here.
Yeah. So Addison came to knock on Sylvain's door, which Eliane heard, and so she went outside to see what's going on. And she is super distressed and is like, come, there's something going on outside. And so the three of them run out. I mean, I imagine we'll get that scene in more detail this session. But the three of them run out and they see sopping wet Dier carrying Maevis's bloody body next to the lake.
No, I'll make a correction.
Okay.
Jenna is carrying Maevis.
Yeah, okay, Jenna's
body,
carrying Maevis.
And Dier is following behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I assumed it was Dier. I had forgotten about that.
Jenna. It was Jenna carrying her.
Nope. He's behind them. Yep.
Yeah. So
he's
entering
stopping
the atrium, right?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Just to set the scene. So Sylvain, Addison, and Eliane are coming down the stairs, that kind of big spiral staircase. And Jenna has just kind of crossed the threshold of the door with Maevis in her arms and is inside. And Dier is just outside, following behind. So I think there was some confusion whether we were in or out. And I think that was partially because Jenna was in and Dier was still out, technically, at the exact cut. And yeah, Dier is sopping wet. Maevis also appears to be wet and appears to be bleeding. And it's certainly a situation.
There's one more vital piece of information, which is that Sylvain is currently shirtless.
Very important.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yes.
Sylvain was getting ready for bed when Addison came to greet him. So he is. We've got a shirtless himbo, which is.
I will ask, Ian, did your dog come downstairs with?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, my dog comes with me everywhere.
Okay, important detail.
So Seth is there as well.
Okay.
Excellent.
Perfect. But we're actually not going to start in the atrium. Instead, just to leave it spends a little longer. We're going to start with Lucius, because he's not downstairs yet.
No, he's still in bed.
Evil. You're so evil, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay, full disclosure, Alyx messaged me and was like, you're going to start with Ben, aren't you? And I was already, you didn't give me that idea, Alyx. I was already going to do that.
I just know how evil you are. I've learned. So.
Matt, I support you in all things.
Yeah.
Hey.
So, Lucius, you're lying on your bed after your conversation with Maevis.
Yep.
You've ingested the remaining Grey Fester that you received from Dier, and you're in kind of a doze. You're occupying a space between daydreaming, hallucination, night dreaming. You're kind of in and out of consciousness, but it's kind of blurring together.
I'm just vibing. I'm vibing.
You're vibing. And at some point in your experience, as you're kind of replaying this conversation, you see or imagine Maevis coming up, and she reclines next to you on the bed and says, "Doesn't it ever get exhausting, Lucius?"
Ooh. Lucius just kind of closes his eyes and just turns his head the other way, away from this image he's seeing.
As you turn away to the other side, another Maevis approaches.
Oh, God.
And this one is moving impossibly deftly while wearing the ornate gown you saw her in when she arrived. And this one says, "We could spend our entire lives not wanting for anything, having fun, experiencing all the opportunities the world could offer us. But does it matter?" And her voice kind of echoes a bit in your brain. So that your trip is kind of turning a little.
It's taking a turn for the worse.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not enjoying it. He's definitely not enjoying this.
Yeah.
But he's also vaguely aware that he is just seeing this. He knows this is.
Yeah.
He knows he's taking the hallucinogenic.
Yeah.
And so he just scrunches his eyes together and just like ignores it, and just kind of like.
He continues to hear the voices, and they start to overlap. And even though you've closed your eyes, he sees like Maevis's twin faces on the inside of his eyelids, almost. And he's so he's hearing, "Can I trust you? I told you before I left I was involved with someone. This was a person I cared about very much. But now I'm not sure they felt the same way about me. I need to know, Lucius, whether what I was feeling was real, whether I had what I thought we had, or whether I was just being duped. I feel like such a stupid, idiot girl. It's no one you would know, and he's gone now, so I don't want to talk about this, Lucius." And these last words seem to continue to echo through your mind. Or maybe both Maevises are just repeating themselves. "I don't want to talk about this, Lucius. I don't want to talk about this, Lucius. I don't want to talk about this, Lucius." And in your mind's eye, you see the Maevises stand up and they start to scream at you, their faces contorting into a cruel, dismissive expressions. Like she can no longer be bothered to spare your feelings, and why aren't you getting this? And she says, "I don't want to talk to you, Lucius."
Yeah, I'm very much in distress. Well, Lucius is very much in distress right now.
Okay.
And he's gonna get up and just head to the bathroom, because we have a little ensuite. He's gonna head to the bathroom and he's just gonna go throw up in the toilet a bit.
Okay. As you're throwing up, there's something at your door, like someone's trying to force their way in, and you hear some like muttered like curses as someone is struggling at your front door.
Oh, God.
To your room.
He's gonna think this is part of the vision. Is it like violent, or is it like someone's trying to is just finding the room unexpectedly locked? Or is it like someone's trying to get in?
It's someone's trying to get in, but they're not like trying to break down the door. Like it's struggling with the knob. Or the lock, or the like.
Okay. He's gonna go back into his bedroom. He's gonna be ignoring it as he's gonna get unchanged from out of his party suit, and he's gonna start putting on like his like satin pajama suit. How long does this go on for? Does it just keep going?
Yeah, so before you're quite out of your party suit, you've maybe like started, undoing some buttons. Yeah. You hear a voice saying, hello?
Okay, I will now head over to the door and look through the little peephole.
I don't think this isn't a hotel. There's no little people.
Oh, there's no little peephole. Okay, yeah. As I said it, I was like, wait, would there be a peephole? Okay.
Yeah, no.
Do I recognize the voice then?
Roll. Ooh. Roll a wits to try to, because you're still kind of
Groggy.
yeah.
Can I use socialite as a trait?
Yeah, you're a people person.
Yeah.
Difficulty 3.
Cool.
Mainly because of the circumstances.
Yes. I got a 4, but I got 3 nudges. Sorry, I got 0, but I got 3 nudges.
Yeah.
So I failed that. I'm just gonna open the door.
It's a woman's voice.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna open the door.
You see Tennille Urbane standing in your doorway.
Okay.
What?
Her makeup is a bit marred by tear streaks. And she seems to be caught in a moment between trying to hold herself together and actively weeping again. She has a glass, not a wine glass, like a flat-bottomed glass with some clear
Like
liquid in it.
Spirits glass.
And a bottle in her other hand. And you actually find your sense of smell is slightly heightened in your state, but you don't need it to tell. She hasn't been drinking water. And she says, "Oh, sorry, I thought this was my room."
Oh,
Lucius.
Oh, Lady Urbane, how lovely to see you tonight. No, this is my room.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Would you mind if I just came in? I'm very confused and disoriented. I just need to sit down. Everyone's door, there's no one in this hallway. I don't know where everyone is.
Oh, go on. He will open the door.
Even as you're saying that, she's kind of pushing her way in.
Yeah.
Like she's being kind of, yeah.
I will let her in. I will open the door because I'm in a very pliable state right now.
Yeah.
And so,
and maybe you want someone real to talk to instead of,
that would be nice.
You don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
And she says, "Oh, I knew it was a mistake. I shouldn't have started thinking about her because this always happens, but I started thinking about her and now I'm just in a state."
I'll let her take a seat. I'll direct her to a seat. I assume there's a pair of chairs or something in the room.
Yeah.
Just big enough for a little seat, some seats and some chairs.
Yeah, she'll take a seat. She'll hand you her glass. Which does have some spirits in it, and she'll take a drink from the bottle.
Don't do this, Lucius.
I'm gonna take a drink, and I'm gonna take her drink, and I'm gonna just sip a little bit of it.
Oh no!
It's pretty strong.
Yeah.
There is some mix in it, but not a lot.
Cool.
And she says,
good.
She's like, mother. And she's just holding her hands, head in her hands and having kind of a breakdown.
Whose mother are we talking about?
Oh, mine, of course.
Oh, yes. Oh, she was a lovely woman, wasn't she?
She was a terrible woman.
Oh, yes, terrible woman. Oh, yeah.
Just a real horror. She was just so cruel and, my sister.
Yeah.
Olive, she could get away with anything. Break away all the rules. Why? She even had a young Straff Venture just eating out of the palm of her hand when he was barely a man. And no one blinked an eye because Olive is so charming, but I take one little step out of line and mother just, she wouldn't let me forget it. And it's like she could never forgive that someone so awkward and ugly could be her daughter.
Oh,
And she just
Lady Urbane, you
could
are
let
you're not awkward or ugly. You're absolutely ravaging for your age.
Shut up. I know what I am.
Okay. Oh.
But you don't realize this. You're a man, but women are like this. They have an innate creativity for cruelty. Take the Illyrials, for instance.
Oh God.
Now don't tell Solace this. And she kind of like shushes you. She's slurring her words more than I am. I want to be audible for you and for the audience, but but I remember someone asking me once if I thought Felix had started that, business with the fire, and I was just, this isn't like it was some rivalry. They had a rivalry over the house title, Felix and Vasha, and I thought, of course, Felix didn't do it.
No, why would
can you imagine? Oh my goodness, that man. The men in that family are competent, maybe, but they lack imagination.
Yeah.
They'd hem and haw, he could never pull off something like that. But if it had been one of the women, I might have considered, Dianette, great, incredible woman, Petrine, killer instinct, and even Maevis, they have a quality about them, the women in that family that I just can't. It's just a quality. It's one I have never had that quality. And that's why my mother hated me.
Lucius absorbs this.
This is fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow.
All of those, she had a version of it, right? She could get fine gowns, jewelry, men, of course, more men. Oh, my goodness. Didn't help her, though. She could have had Straff Venture and been Lady Venture right now, maybe, but look how she wound up.
Yeah.
But then why am I still the one being tormented?
It seems completely unfair.
I'm just a decrepit old woman, aging and alone, incapable of providing an heir. Lucius. She looks deep into your eyes.
Why does this keep happening to me? Lucius,
if you kiss Neil Urbane, I'm gonna lose it.
Can I rest a hand on her hand?
You can.
Yep.
Tennille will go in for the kiss.
Okay, yeah, I'm doing this. Yep, this is happening now. Yeah.
Never did I think this episode in the last 3 weeks we start with this.
God.
I mean, Tennille continues to be the best character.
Absolutely.
Honestly.
And it's sloppy. You get the sense that she was
Wait, I threw up 2 minutes ago.
she doesn't care. She doesn't care.
Yeah, that's fine.
But and at some point into it, she's just gonna be like, I don't feel good. And then she's gonna pass out.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank God. Ooh,
And
God. Have we made it to the bed by this point?
she's kind of passed out, and I'll say she kind of clumsily clunks to the ground.
Okay. I will gentlemanly just lay her on the bed and then
She's A large woman. I'm gonna say
Okay.
make a physique roll
Oh, no.
to see if you can manage this.
I only have 2 of those, and I don't have anything that can help with that. Okay, let's roll 2 dice. What's the difficulty?
Ooh.
Okay. That's a 0 and a 0, so I fail.
Yeah.
So close.
So you're kind of like struggling with her, and she
Yeah.
starts like kind of moaning. Like Lucius is a slight
Yes, he is.
fellow.
He has no muscles on him whatsoever.
So she starts like moaning and like she's like, no, mother, no.
Okay. I'm just gonna grab a pillow from the bed, put it under her head, make sure it's turned to the side, and then I'm gonna go through the ensuite to the neighboring room that's empty, and I'm gonna go asleep there. I'm gonna go get into bed.
Now, question: Did you close the door after her, or did you leave it open?
Oh, when she first came in?
Yeah.
Oh, I would 100% would have closed the door after her.
Roll wits for me.
Roll wits.
And you can add a dice.
Ooh. So I'm gonna go 4.
At least one.
Okay.
Difficulty 2.
Cool. Let's see if we can get more than a 0 this time.
I gotta try to get you downstairs for whatever's about to happen.
Well, I just rolled 5s.
Oh,
So
yeah. You definitely. I will say, as you're kind of you're making sure the doors are closed, you're locking up. Something twigs in you that you saw over Tennille Urbane's shoulder as she entered, and that was you saw the room across from you, which you know to be Maevis's room. The door was ajar. So you can do with that info. If you want to do something about it, you can. If you want to go to sleep, you can too. But you did notice the door was ajar.
I think I'm gonna leave it. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. He's not in the mood to go see Maevis right now. He's been turned away from her. He's not gonna go check on an ajar door.
Lucius has another woman now.
Everyone wants Lucius.
I'm like the one thing that I'm not great with romance stuff, and then in 2, both Diceborn series, I've ended up having to do something.
I think this is a very romantic.
This isn't romance. This isn't romance. This is this is a quick hookup.
She's like early 50s, like
so.
Yeah, this is a. She's having a hard time. We'll be sympathetic. So, okay, now that we've left Lucius, let's cut to the atrium.
Oh,
and
we have to do this scene now.
Yeah, we have to do this scene now.
Oh my god.
I would like to just rewind a bit as people are coming down, because we kind of rushed getting Eliane and Sylvain down. So first, I think Eliane, at some point last session, Verónica, you had mentioned Eliane might be burning bronze to see what Dier is doing. So do you want to do that now?
Not so much to see what Dier was doing. I mean, she's just gonna want to like be practicing because she doesn't know how much luck she's gonna have with Lucius helping her. So she's like, well, only way to do it is practice. Most people have gone to bed. It's not as dangerous right now. And so she's just gonna be like testing out her skills. She's not gonna be looking for anything specific, but
okay. She knows she's by Dier's room though. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead and roll your bronze. Okay, so you do detect at one point in the evening, kind of a little before Addison comes, you detect kind of a bit of steel being burned. And you get that it's steel because you know, like, that's one of the pulses you know best because of your brother. Not outside necessarily, but across the hall. You can't quite tell if it's outside or in one of the rooms across the hall from you.
Yeah, she wouldn't like act on it, but I mean,
and it's kind of a quick blink, like almost like someone was just burning and then letting go, or like they were passing by and then pass out of range. So you don't feel it for very long. And then we'll also, I guess, so Addison has come to get you. Sylvain and Eliane, are you saying anything to Addison as you're kind of walking down the flights of stairs?
Sylvain asks Addison, like, what's happening? Like as soon as like they're leaving that upstairs corridor. So like he has to walk to the stairs and down 2 flights of stairs to explain things.
And she's just saying, I don't know. She was out on the docks meeting with Jenna, and I was in her room looking out the window, and I think someone attacked or something happened. And she's kind of, you can tell she's like kind of stressed, so she's like not quite. But yeah, so she'll say like, what you get out of her as you're running down the stairs because she's out of breath is someone attacked, there was an altercation happening, and she knows Jenna was out there. Does Sylvain ask anything else?
What?
Like he would ask, like, what did the attacker look like?
It was
because he has an idea in his brain.
Yeah, it was too far away for me to see. And I'll say, kind of at that point, you guys are like at the bottom because you're like Addison. At least if you're keeping up with Addison, like she's picked up her dress and she's
sprinting. Yeah,
like going down the stairs at speed. So she just says, I didn't recognize, and then she gasps as you guys get down the stairs and see Jenna carrying Maevis in, not in great shape, and Dier following behind. And is Eliane still burning bronze?
I mean, she probably would have forgotten to turn it off and all of that, so.
Okay, so, probably at the top of Jenna's lungs, she is going to scream, "Guards! Medics!" And, would there be any, like, Ilariel, like, guards or anyone downstairs? Just, like, who else, who's around?
There's no one in the room currently, but you know there's like people around. So as you're shouting, people will start coming in. Like some guards come in from just outside the door, like they were on a shift, like outside. So a couple guards come in, and a couple servants kind of duck their heads in from different areas.
Okay.
So there are people like responding to your calls.
So Jenna is okay. One other question. They're just sort of tables and chairs in the atrium, right? Like not couches.
No
stuff?
tables and chairs.
Because they cleared it.
It was a standing party. So there was the art exhibits, and there's some like long, like tall, small tables for like drinks. So how it's set up is the room's kind of circular, right? Or like a polygon. And there's the stairs in the middle, and there's kind of a clear pathway from door to door that has the stairs.
Yep.
So the guards coming from the front would be blocked by the stairs initially. And then on either side, people coming from the side doors their view would be a little blocked by all the art exhibits and stained glass panels. So they would have to kind of weave their way through.
So Jenna is then going to be moving very quickly towards either the solar or the main lounge. She is searching for a couch. I think the main lounge would probably be appropriate. I imagine we probably didn't do this on screen, but I imagine she took, she's figured out the basic layout of the public rooms.
Oh yeah, she knows. Every room would have a fireplace.
Okay, so Jenna is moving very quickly towards the solar. She says, "Get Lord Solus, get the Prelon," and then she's like screaming for help.
Eliane would have like seen what's happening. Turn to Addison, like, Addison, is there a medical kit anywhere? Because while the more professional people arrive, she has the skills to at least help. Somebody else go find those. Somebody else go do anything, but she can help right now.
Mhm.
And so she's gonna ask Addison, like, what can I do? Because she doesn't have hers with her. That's back home.
Okay. So Jenna's trying to run towards the solar. Eliane is turning to Addison and asking for help or a medical kit, asking what she can do. What are Dier and Sylvain doing?
Oh, do you want to go first or shall I?
Sylvain is very interested in what Dier is doing now.
Dier, I think, is running through the door after Jenna. I think he was several paces behind.
Jenna's moving fast.
Yeah, he looks terrible. He's sopping wet, of course. Probably smells like lake water. And he looks desperate to get to Jenna and Maevis and is like fully intending to chase them wherever Jenna is going. I think actually he catches sight of Eliane on the stairs, and there's a look of relief on his face, actually, that she is here.
Does Eliane notice?
Oh, you know what? I'll say yes. I think Eliane has seen her brother in a really desperate state before. One of the reasons she is good at patching people up is we've said she's maybe climbed through her window injured after a bad job, looking for someone to stitch him up, perhaps. And he has that sort of same look now of like the mask is gone. He needs someone to help right now, and he's locked onto his sister as, yes, this is a person who helps.
Sylvain, what are you doing in this commotion?
He's made certain assumptions, knowing knowing what he knows about Dier, and the fact that he and Maevis had a planned meeting, and to be able to attack Maevis on the docks from a distance sounds like a coin shot thing. So Jenna is like running towards the solar. Dier is following.
Sylvain,
yes.
Roll a quick wits for me.
Can I add anything?
You haven't. What's your new trait?
My elements or combat training trait.
Yeah, you can add that.
Okay. What's the difficulty?
I'm in danger.
2.
Okay. A 4, a 1, and a nudge.
Okay, yeah.
Just the way things have shaken out. Okay, so Jenna is running towards the solar.
Carrying
Maevis. Like, Sylvain is making a beeline for Dier. And is planning to pin Dier against the wall.
Nice.
To ask a question.
I think as Dier sees that like Sylvain is making an intercept sort of a situation, his face just like full snarl. He is not having it right now. And I think he's got his dueling cane in his hand. And I think he's just trying to get Sylvain out of the way. He is going to throw his dueling cane in Sylvain's general direction and just push on it to try to catch him off guard and shove him out of the way.
Can I catch it and brace myself?
This will be a contest, because you're not trying to injure Sylvain, right? You're trying
to
push him away.
Just push.
So yeah, this will be your steel versus Sylvain's physique.
Yeah.
And I assume Sylvain does not have any metal on him.
No.
He is. Yeah. He did say he was shirtless.
I would like to pull some dice for this.
Yes.
I would like to pull Violent Courier.
Yes.
I would also like to pull his new trait, protective.
Ooh.
Yes. And I will also say you can add your dueling cane as a prop
Nice.
for this too.
Okay.
So
before she rolls,
Yeah.
like, who do we want to roll first? Because that's the setting the difficulty.
yes.
So is this
I
like
think I should have the disadvantage.
Yeah, I think Dier should roll first.
Yeah.
Because you're responding
Mhm.
to Dier's
Mhm.
action.
That's fair.
Like you're kind of
Mhm.
countering. So yeah, Dier will roll first. And is Sylvain adding anything to his physique?
My Elemental combat training would help me deal with pushing and
A whole
pulling.
lot,
Yeah,
for sure.
for sure.
And it's like
So-
showmanship, like he's not making a spectacle out of him resisting this. Like he's just like catching it, and so
All right.
that's
So shall I roll first?
yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Here he goes. Ooh, that is a
Twos
2
and
with
two
two
nudges.
nudges.
A lot of
And
dice.
so
Interesting.
Ian, you can roll
And I will bank those.
6 for your physique plus 1 for your new
Trait.
trait, and then plus
One.
1 for some negative circumstances that are impacting Dier's situation.
Also a lot of dice.
3s and 2
Okay.
nudges,
Nice.
I'm
Nice,
so
nice,
thrilled.
nice.
with
which
that.
I am banking those nudges.
Okay, so what happens is, Dier, you're like breathing quite heavily and you're kind of shaking a bit. You're wet,
Yeah.
you're cold. You have no time for Sylvain, so you push the cane at him, but you do it kind of haphazardly. And Sylvain, you set your stance, you reach out, you catch the cane kind of in the middle.
Mhm.
And Dier, you are sent flying backward because Sylvain is heavier than you. And you go crashing through several panes of stained glass.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh,
In the atrium.
nasty.
Um,
Cool.
so
Does he take damage from that, or
no,
just,
I'm not.
Just
I'm
make
not
the
going to
big
damage
mess?
you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
In the pushback, is Dier going towards the solar or away from the solar in the geometry of this?
I think he's getting pushed back toward the door.
Well, see, I don't think my
I think
mental image is
Where's the
that.
map?
Yeah.
I think
Where's the door to
like
the
Jenna and
solar?
Dier were like kind of circling around
So-
the door. So it's like,
yeah, I think Dier would have been following Jenna when this happened,
yeah.
and they're in the middle of the room by the staircase. Like they've just come around.
Mhm.
So I do think you would go towards the solar.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Although there's no door directly.
There's no
to
door to the solar. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're going to the hallway. So yeah, Dier is he's headed that kind of general direction, but you're not being pushed straight towards the door that Jenna is heading towards.
Yeah.
And
like
Okay.
catching it, he's as soon as like Dier like hits the wall, or unless like he cancels the push early, Sylvain is just gonna drop the cane and like go at Dier to pin him against the wall so he can ask a question.
I think he's flat on his ass. So yeah, Sylvain can probably get him.
Okay, so that's this beat. Addison will start responding to you, Verónica, but talking takes a little longer. So just with the action, I'm gonna go back to Jenna. What is Jenna?
Am I through the door to the hallway? Like where am I? Am I
Yeah,
through the door?
you'd be about to the door. Yeah,
Okay,
you're
so
moving pretty fast.
I pretty clearly would hear the crash,
Yeah.
right? And so I stop, I look back, and I yell, Dier! And Sylvain's like rushing towards Dier, right?
Yeah.
Jenna turns and like glares at Sylvain, and This is not how I thought this was going to go, and so I'm all my
God,
careful
this is so
preparation of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So far, going exactly as
I will say,
Oh, okay, great.
There are some servants approaching you in the hallway too. Like, so they're like, you can, from your vantage, you can also see guards two guards coming in from the front door, and like on the other side of the door in the hall, you can see some servants coming out.
But they're not towards me yet. They're not at me yet, right?
They're not at you yet, yeah, but they're coming towards you, responding to what's going on.
Okay. Lord Hadriel, stop! We were attacked.
So you get that out, and then Verónica, can you roll bronze for me?
Yep. And 2 nudges. I do have, like with these, I'd have 4 nudges, so I don't know if it's worth bumping it up 1.
It's up to you.
I think I will.
Okay.
I think I will.
Since 3 sources of allomancy in your immediate vicinity, one of whom you're pretty sure is your brother burning steel. But it's too confusing. You can't, and people are moving too fast, like, so you can't pinpoint what's going on.
I love how the dice just consistently know how skilled she is.
Well, and the situation
Frustrating as a player, but it makes so much sense.
Yeah, because like when Marsh described seeking, it's like it's not like there's a pulse that's saying bronze.
It's really
bronze.
hard, yeah.
Like it's
sure.
like you're like timing the pattern. Like there's So yeah, you haven't clued in yet, but you do notice there's like, or there's I should say there's 3 metals being burned. It could be that someone is burning multiple metals, to your knowledge.
She doesn't know which is, like, she can't identify the other 2 that aren't steel. Okay.
And you're pretty sure it's steel. You're not even 100% sure at that. It's just like you're like, okay, logic. I think that's Dier. That would be steel, but they're interfering with each other. And Addison is saying, everyone, like in response to Jenna, she's saying, everyone stop. We need to help Maevis. This isn't important. And she's running to Jenna.
Lord Ruler, yes.
Sylvain knows things like
yeah,
that affect what he's doing.
But Sylvain knows that Addison knows these things as well, and she is saying stop and going. So,
did Addison answer to?
She says, I don't know. She doesn't live here. Like this isn't.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't.
I just
know,
figured out Addison is the one that most likely knows because but he's around Maevis all the time.
There's servants coming, so you might get an opportunity, right? So we're very slow motion right now, but I think now. So Sylvain, we've had some shouting, some running. Sylvain is going to pin Dier against the wall. What happened? What happens next?
Oh, what exactly do I say? So, Sylvain's not the smartest person, but he thinks he's figured things out. And so, like, he kind of picks up Dier and does the pin him against a wall. And quietly.
Does Dier resist the pin?
I don't think he can. I think he got thrown so off guard. Yeah, Sylvain just gets him.
So we won't roll for it. So yeah. Go ahead.
And quietly, so only Dier can hear it. He will say something. How do I phrase this thing?
How do you phrase this? You didn't practice? You haven't been.
No, I don't practice.
Possible conversation for the past 3 weeks.
He will say, what happened out there? Because right now it does not look good for you. Having a planned meeting with your former lover. Not a good look. And he's very angry.
I think Dier starts to bluster as Sylvain is trying to ask him what happened. And as soon as Sylvain says that, he just looks stunned that both Sylvain knew about the meeting and also apparently knows that something was going on between him and Maevis. And I think he just stammers for a few moments. He is kind of struggling to get away, but he's not doing a good job of it because he's just really so overwhelmed right now. And I think when he finally finds his words, he just says, "Of all the people she would tell, she told you."
Go ahead.
Have guards arrived towards Jenna?
Yeah,
Okay.
so there's guards in, and so now, so people are shouting, servants are saying, what's going on? What's going on?
And can I hand Maevis to them? To two of them?
Yes, you can hand Maevis off. Do you say anything as you do that?
It's she was in the lake. She's probably bleeding. Get her warm now.
And Addison's running up and she's breathing heavily and she's like, how long was she in the water for?
Not more than 2 minutes.
Okay. Eliane, is there a medic kit? Is there a medic? And so, Eliane, do you go with Addison and the servants?
Yeah, she probably would. She'd just look for the first person to know where a medic kit is. And even if they aren't gonna, as long as they can point it to her, she'll just sprint there and get it and come back.
Okay. Eliane, do you kind of take charge of what's going on with Maevis or attempt to?
As long as there isn't any professional medic around, she knows that
well, there's no
she can
professional
help,
medic
so-
around yet, right? That's the thing. People might be coming, but just so right now it's a couple of servants, Addison, Jenna's there, you're there. So do you try to kind of check vitals or check condition or anything?
Yeah, so she heard Jenna's response to Addison of maximum 2 minutes in the water. And she'll be and so she'll check vitals, she'll check that Maevis is still actually breathing properly and see if she has any water in her lungs and try to get that out. While she waits for someone to bring it to her because she can do something right now without any potential bleeding.
So roll a wits, and you can add your new trait.
Yeah, I have it as first aid knowledge from treating Dier and her own research.
Yeah.
Which is how I wrote it down.
Yeah. 3. Okay, so to check in where Maevis is at. Maevis has fallen unconscious at this point. Her breathing is not good. It's erratic. And it's kind of, she's not looking good. She's very cold to the touch. And she seems to have several puncture wounds that she's bleeding from. So with your first aid knowledge, the most immediate danger could be that her heart could stop if she goes into shock. She appears, if there was water in her lungs, she appears to have cleared it, but, or at least cleared it enough that she's not completely, she is still breathing, but it's not looking great for her. And you hear people around, people are calling for medics, people are coming. Now, is there anything else people want to do immediately before we kind of... Okay.
I'm going to say to a guard, it's you need to raise the alarm. There's an enemy coin shot. If there's a Mistborn here, we need to deploy them.
The guard will say, yes, absolutely. And the other guard says, everyone stay where you... And is now reaching the Sylvain Dier altercation and is saying, everyone stay where they are. And so people are kind of going to begin to be kind of locked down, is the instruction. They're trying to figure out what's going on, right? So the people in the atrium, the guards are going to try to get you to stay in the atrium. Eliane, Addison are in the solar with Maevis, I think, at this point.
And Jenna, yeah.
And then, no, I think Jenna turned
Jenna
back.
went out. Okay.
Yeah. And so guards are coming, servants are coming. So at this point, we'll go out of that like super slow time. Those were some key moments that needed to resolve. Oh, I guess Sylvain, Dier, the guards will probably try to separate you and confiscate the dueling cane.
It's on the ground behind them.
Oh yeah, on the ground.
Sylvain
dropped it.
Yeah.
So they'll probably try to separate, and so someone will start asking what happened. But first, so Maevis's fate. I didn't want to make just a bunch of rolls behind a screen to determine this. So I've devised a mechanic where the players can potentially contribute to how she does. So over the course of the session, depending on how Maevis progresses, she's hypothermic, she's bleeding. There's gonna be a series of rolls made, and right now, because you guys all have a connection to Maevis, I'm gonna say your fortunes, capital C connection, your capital F fortunes are linked, in Cosmere terms. So I'm gonna say everyone, I'm gonna give a free spirits roll, and depending how well you do on the spirits roll, you may be able to contribute to Maevis's possible survival. You will also, if you have spirits to spend, I will allow you to spend a spirit to make one additional spirits roll. One housekeeping thing, standings have not refreshed yet, so I think Ben at least has spent his spirits. I'm not sure if anyone else has.
I also spent an influence as well.
You spend an influence as well, yeah. But so this is just a spirits roll. So you're dealing with functionally one less spirit.
Do we get to add anything to our spirits, or is it just a raw spirits roll?
It is just a raw spirits roll to start. However, if you get at least a 1 on your spirits roll, you may add a dice for someone to come after you in the order. So what I'll explain, I guess, just for our audience's benefit, is what I'm giving the players in advance is not the context of the rolls. That'll come up as we go through the narrative. But I have given the dice pool the person who is making the roll is starting with, and the difficulty, as well as some potential consequences. So the first roll will have there's 5 rolls that will be made that you can potentially buff. The first roll is going to have 4 dice and is difficulty 3. And if that fails, the challenge is over. Generally, you want the challenge to go as long as possible. So that first roll isn't too difficult, but it is very important. The second and third roll are both not as consequential. The challenge can proceed either way, but they're going to make the later rolls easier. So that's what the second and third rolls will do. And you're doing 2 dice difficulty 1, but it's a scale. And then the third dice pool is kind of going to depend on the results of the second roll. And then the other important rolls is we have a dice pool 4, difficulty 4 roll, which if it fails, the challenge ends. And then the final roll is a difficulty 4, and the initial dice pool, if you don't add in anything to it successfully, is only a 2.
Oh my god.
So each of you will get a chance now to roll spirits.
So we're doing spirits before those challenge rolls.
Yeah. So these challenge rolls, and they're not going to happen in a row. They're going to be like spread out throughout the remainder of the session.
Okay. Got it.
Will you tell us that they're like Maevis like challenge rolls? Like,
yeah, I'll tell you what they are when they come up. But right now,
but we've got to decide which of them we're buffing and how right now after
Yeah.
we get spirits to get our buffs, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
The first thing is, what order do you want to roll your spirits in?
I don't know if like starting with the highest is necessarily like the best plan.
The thing is, I think, because one of the like results that you get, as long as you get a 1, that's a buff that can only be used on another player's spirits roll. It doesn't work at all for the challenge.
So what so question, Matt, what happens if we just like if Ian like rolls 5s immediately if we start? Like what happens then?
Then he can
buffs to put on the challenge.
Yeah, then he has a lot of things he can do. So the higher you roll, the more stuff you can do to help with this.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay. So that does sound like probably the multiplicative aspect. We probably want highest spirits first. So do you agree with that, Ian?
The only other thing, then your highest spirits isn't so the other potential strategy could be to do like the second highest, either the highest first and the second highest last, or reverse that.
Sure.
Because then you're also really buffing the last person who's already strong to start.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
So there's a couple ways you could do it.
Further clarification. So like, let's say I roll, like I get at least a 1. Only one person gets a +1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
but
it's like,
then plus whatever else you do with the roll.
Yeah. So it's not like, oh, I will do 1 and like everyone benefits.
No.
It's just like the probabilities are like, is buffing like somebody with lower spirits as beneficial as buffing someone with higher spirits?
So the rewards that we get for 2, 3, 4, and 5, which again, they stack. So like if you get 4, you get the rewards from all of the ranks below it. 2, 3, 4, and 5 buff challenge rolls. The 1 buffs another person's spirit roll.
Sure.
Yes.
So if you think that you're going to roll at least a 1 at all, you're going to have something to buff us in the spirits phase.
Addison is also going to make a spirits roll for her connection to Maevis, and she's going last. Okay. So even if like that extra dice won't be wasted for the
okay, cool.
Because they can give it to Addison.
Yeah. I think we should go Ben, Alyx, Eric, Verónica, Ian.
Cool. Sure.
Yeah.
I think having more rolls will be good. So like the spending of those spirits will help a lot.
Yeah.
As long as Ian's spirits buffs don't get wasted, like as long as they can roll to Addison, then I think
we're all good.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah,
for sure.
Everyone but Ben, is Ben spending to do a second?
I'm not doing second. I would intentionally fail if I could. And
Eliane is
he has high spirits, but I'm also scared that we're gonna need those later.
Yeah.
And if everyone is spending, I want someone to have high spirits.
That's a good point.
Sure. Yeah.
So we have Ian ×2, Eric ×2, and Alyx ×2.
Yep.
And just so you know, we're doing this because I'm giving you a spirits roll for free. The second roll is going to be reduced already. So you're going to have to spend in between. So your second roll will be less dice than your first roll.
Oh, so like if we had 3, then like the second one would be 2.
2, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are going to be pretty garbage. Yeah, I think buffing, going from like 2 to 3 and spending that bonus there is pretty dumb, as opposed to like making sure we get more like 5s, right?
So, Lucius, you're not there, but you still have an important connection to Maevis, and you've just had this kind of hallucination. So, it's you are thinking about Maevis a little bit though in this moment, and it occurs to you that when it comes to social interaction, Lucius is an adept swimmer of shallow waters, but Maevis is kind of one of your main confidants and one of the only people you've let dive a little deeper and see a little more of you. You remember, even though you're kind of stressed out about your relationship right now a little, it seems, it's you remember the many nights you spent giggling over gossip, spilling stolen wine and stolen secrets. And you realize that Maevis is probably, maybe, if not the only, one of the only people who you have a genuine connection with, who knows you certainly better than your parents, and perhaps knows you better than you know yourself. And so you're feeling in this moment as you're making this roll how preserving this relationship is important to you.
Yeah. And it is for Lucius. Ben, the player, would love to see Maevis die, but Lucius wants her to live. So I'm going to roll.
Don't you dare.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll and I'm going to get 5s. God damn it.
5s. So
All right, that's a great start. Lucius does not want Maevis to die right here. Boom. Hell yeah.
So
Cool.
For starters, Ben, which player are you going to give a dice to? Who comes after you in the order?
Am I generally giving them? Is it Ian? We're giving them as many votes as we can to Ian, right?
Okay. And then now you can add a die to a challenge roll of your choice. So rolls 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Well, actually, you can add 2 dice. You can either split them up or add 2 to 1.
I'm going to go for 1 and 5. So I'm going to give 1 dice to challenge 1 and then 1 dice to challenge 5.
Perfect. And then you can also lower the difficulty by 2 or lower 2 different difficulties by 1.
In that case, I'm going to lower the difficulty of 1 and 5. They feel the most important.
That seems sensible. Yeah.
Next is Dier. And so as you're sitting there in the atrium, you're sore, you're still in wet clothes, your breathing's, you're shivering. It's a lot's going on for Dier right now. And hours ago, you'd probably never have admitted this, but what you just saw was your best friend. A teller of jokes, a distributor of dares, and a companion of many shared experiences that you have in common that you don't have in common with most other people. In some ways, she's the pull to your push. And you recognize that Maevis's abandonment of you only hurt the way it did because she's one of the few people who is capable of hurting you that way. And that's why it stung a little extra. You recognize that your bond with Maevis was never actually defined by the parties, the thrills, your allomancy, the mutual status, or even, as we recently learned, your casual affair. It was because in a world filled with people who seemed baffled by your continued existence, Maevis got you and understood you. And you remember that once a while ago, you made a choice that wasn't a singular moment of decision. It was more a slow accumulation of preference, which led to some heated words between you and Maevis and years of silence, basically. And tonight, you know you made a different choice and you're sitting with that. And so you feel a great need within yourself, I think, for Maevis to know where your new path leads.
Okay. All right. Dier has a spirits of 3. So I'm going to go ahead and roll that.
Nice.
3.
Nice. We're rolling good so far. This is really good.
It's going well.
So-
it's going well.
Okay.
Who do you want to give a dice to?
I think we're all in on buffing Sylvain, so I will give my spirits dice to Sylvain. Spirit dice buff to Sylvain.
There
And then
probably
3
is an upper bound to how much we want to give Sylvain. Like probably not more than like +3, right?
Well,
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
because how many dice do you have naturally?
I have 5 naturally,
So
but
now
I
you're
am
up to
making
7.
2 rolls. Can I Can I dice be split between?
You can
these?
split them. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a good point. So we
Yeah.
do get 2 of them. So okay, that's
Yeah.
cool.
That,
Cool.
that makes sense.
Um,
And then I get to add 2 dice to challenge rolls, but I don't get
Yeah.
to lower difficulty.
Yeah, exactly.
I think 1 is the most important. I think I'm going to give both my dice to challenge roll number 1.
Agreed.
Like if we lose that one, it's all over.
Yeah, she's just
So-
instantly dead, probably. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And then shall I spend my spirits to do the second roll?
Sure. Yep, go ahead.
All right. That was also one of Dier's advancements. His spirits rose.
And now
by
now
1,
this roll
now
is
it's
just
2
2 dice.
Come on, dice. She's so important. We
So
can't lose her.
important.
No.
Ah.
Nothing. Okay.
Okay.
But,
You tried.
Big back 0.
Okay.
Look, we're rolling well so far with like the
Yeah.
the lower spirits.
He got
so I guess-
something. I will
Yeah, we
take
got
it. I'll
something.
take
Yeah.
a 3.
So
Yeah,
next,
absolutely.
we'll move on to Jenna. So Jenna, as you're in this moment thinking about the dramatic things that just happened between you and Maevis, you're thinking about the childhood friend and family member, your cousins, who's evolved over time somehow into a sometimes distant rival. You remember when Maevis's father was alive and you were kids and your families were closer, spending a lot of time together, and you think maybe Maevis was probably one of your first friends. People don't get close to Jenna easily, and so Maevis was probably one of the people. She's maybe not the closest to you now, but she was probably one of the first people you were close to outside of your immediate family. And you also remember how life started getting in the way, and more so than anything, the constant comparisons of adolescence, both internal and externally from society. Who was more beautiful, more respected, had more status, more resilient, more capable, more fearless? And you recognize over time you two have started holding things back from each other just kind of naturally, as this unstoppable rivalry almost has kind of accumulated, despite neither of you really intending that to happen or feeling true animus towards each other to start. Despite everything you've been through and the fact that recent years have turned you into strangers a little bit, especially the last 2, you still feel, I think, like you're maybe ready to beg the deepness to let your friend live, if that's accurate. With that in mind, make your spirits rolls.
All right. 3. Let's go. That third spirit die is another one of Jenna's advancements. So
Yeah.
that was good. She does have a new trait as well.
Nothing. You
nothing.
can, though. So a nudge, you can either bank that the normal way, or you can add the nudge to one of the challenge rolls. So a nudge won't change a success to a failure, or a failure to a success, but you can like nudge a failure or nudge a success.
Do I have to choose a specific challenge roll for the
Yeah.
nudge?
Mm-hmm.
My heart is beating so rapidly that it's really hard for me to think. Like, geez. So yeah, let's put a nudge on 4. Sure.
Okay.
So then I'm spending a spirit and rolling a 2 die.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, all right.
Hey!
All right. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Good.
that's
Good.
Are you giving your dice to Ian then?
Yep.
as
Hell
well?
yeah. And I get to add a die to the challenge roll.
A single dice.
Yeah, a single die. Yep. I think roll 1, we're doing pretty good with 7 dies
Yeah.
with difficulty 2,
Yeah,
right?
I'd go-
I think that's probably good.
I would go 2 since
Yeah.
that's a sliding scale, like, and it helps determine the pool.
Yeah, I
for
agree.
3.
Totally agree. Yeah,
Mhm,
that's exactly what I'm thinking. Let's put it on 2.
So plus a dice to 2.
Cool.
Okay. And then we have Verónica making a single roll. So, Eliane, you don't know Maevis quite as well as the rest of this group. She's always been close to your brother, which has meant you've kept your distance because your Dier did not want you interacting with his friends. And so you see more probably than anyone else here what the rest of the world sees about Maevis, an enigmatic woman hiding behind a paragon of noble femininity. Under that, though, you also see the answers to many of some questions that you have. And you know if she doesn't make it, your opportunity to crack that surface and find out the information you want to know, you might not get another chance. And so your destinies are still, your fate is kind of intertwined with hers based on how much you're able to accomplish. I'm not sure the extent to which Eliane is admitting this to herself right now, or is feeling this, but I'll also throw out there that maybe part of her recognizes that Maevis might be one of the few people who could save Dier from himself. If that is something Eliane wants or doesn't want to happen. So, with that in mind, roll spirits.
Ooh,
Okay,
very
fours
nice.
and a nudge.
Four
and a nudge.
So I'm assuming you give a dice to Ian,
Yes.
and then you can add a dice to 2 challenges or add 2 dice to 1 challenge.
I have some thoughts. Maybe we add more dice to 3 and you lower the difficulty of 4. 4 is difficulty 4. So
Mhm.
lowering that is probably pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then if we get some bonuses off of 3, then that seems pretty reasonable, yeah.
So -1 difficulty to roll 4.
And where are you adding your 2 dice? You can split them up or keep them together.
Yeah, that's what I'm debating right now. Add 1 to 2 and 1 to 4, because 2 also ups the dice pool of 3, which also ups the dice pool of 4. Like, bigger risk, but if I'm splitting them up, then I can guarantee make it easier on 4, but also probably help with 2 and 3 and 4
And
by extension.
you also got a nudge. So do you want to add that nudge? And so again, nudges nudges will mainly tweak a failure.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Because for challenge roll 4, it says with 2 or more
that's
nudges,
exactly what I
you
was
get 1
thinking.
additional. We already have. Is that as part of that roll, or do these nudges count for that?
So those nudges would be added. So you would get 2 or more If she adds a nudge.
Before.
Yeah. Nope. Then that would be an automatic
extra dice
die for 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to do that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm not
And
sure.
then we'll move to Sylvain. Sylvain. The brother who, in your family struggles to stand out a little bit, and to make a name for himself. You're also someone whose failures weigh very heavily on you, even when they're not necessarily yours personally. But in this moment, this is your chance to be a hero, right? Maevis, you met Maevis at a time when she was very vulnerable and very broken. And so you've never gotten over that impression of her. I think that she's someone who needs to be saved. And now the events that you've been trying so hard to prevent all evening seem to have possibly come to pass. So you, I think, can really feel the pull of fortune and destiny in your brain right now, just willing this to work out any other way than another tragedy. I think with that in mind, you can make your spirits roll.
I start with 5 dice.
And you have 4 you can add.
I will add 2 to bring me up to 7.
Okay.
3s and 2 nudges.
Two nudges.
That just seemed pretty useful, honestly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So 3, you can add a dice. You're adding 2 dice to the survival
Yes.
challenge.
I'll add the nudges to 3.
2 nudges to 3?
Both nudges to 3.
Mhm.
Where do we put the dies? You know?
Yeah. I'll do 1 to 2 and 1 to 4. And for my second roll, start with 4, add the 2 remaining.
Okay.
Yeah.
5.
That's what
No
I'm
nudges.
talking about.
Very,
Hell
very
yeah.
nice.
So Addison gets another dice for her roll.
Very
Yes. Okay.
good. This was a good strategy to have Sylvain go last. So this was good.
So do you want to start with your dice or your difficulties?
My dice.
Okay.
I'll add 1 to 2 and 1 to
4 maybe. I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah, I'll go 4.
Just so we're aware,
Difficulty.
4 has +2, and it's starting with a larger dice pool. And 5
That's true.
only has +1 and
Yeah.
starts with a dice pool of 2.
Okay, then I'll do 5 instead of 4.
Okay. And then you can minus 2 difficulty either from the same or from 2 different challenges.
If you lower the difficulty on 1, we go up to 97% that we succeed on that one.
Ooh. It would suck. So currently dice roll 1 is at 89% success rate.
9%.
Wouldn't that be brutal if we're in that 11%?
I know, but like,
Yeah, I know. If we could
Yeah.
get more than
It's
that,
tough.
yeah.
It's so
tough.
hard. Where do we put stuff?
Matt, one question. Only one person is going to be rolling like with these pools, right? For the challenges.
NPCs will be.
Yeah, it's
Well,
they're all going to be NPC rolls. I
Okay.
might ask you guys to actually roll them, but I'll be telling you how much you're rolling and what's being applied. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll -1 from 5. I kind of want a -1 from 3.
That does seem like probably a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
So that slides the whole scale down 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this quality content here, everyone?
Leo will make us a nice graphic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone who skipped the dice rolling section.
Yeah.
We should put a thing. It's like, if you want to skip all of this.
To be honest, yeah, we probably should.
Yeah, for sure.
Chapter,
But
whatever.
hopefully, so then I'll do one more roll for Addison,
We have
Okay.
+2.
I had forgotten about Addison. Yeah.
and she has +2 dice. And
How much spirits does she have, Matt?
Addison has a
that's what I
spirits of 6.
Yeah, that's
Because she's
freaking
the
right.
best.
I figured.
I mean,
That's
she did make friends with a high noble. She's very lucky.
Hey Matt, do you think Addison's gonna spend a spirit if she's this piece?
I'm not gonna let her. She's not
Okay.
allowed to.
Oh wow,
Addison
cruel.
got 4
Cruel.
and 2 nudges.
Okay.
And I'm gonna let you guys
Wait.
decide where to apply those.
Okay, that's
Okay.
really good. This is very good.
So lower the difficulty of one challenge roll by 1. And then,
Yeah, maybe let's do the difficulty first, because that's just 1.
Uh-huh.
And then dice and then nudges.
We need to pump 5, sorry. We need to pump 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Subtract
Okay.
it from 5.
Okay.
Okay.
And then +2 dice to 5 as well.
Ooh, that's tricky. I kind of
is-
want to say like 1 die to 4 and 1 die to 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that seem good?
Yeah.
And then nudges to. She has
Ooh,
2
okay.
nudges.
Let's send 1 to 3, because that gives us 3 nudges on 3. That means we automatically get a success there.
Good shout.
At least 1.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
No, so these nudges can't be used.
Oh, they don't work that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's spread them out then.
I don't think we should split them, because one nudge doesn't necessarily get us anything. Whereas, like, if we give 2, so like if we give 2 to 3 right now, that's an automatic additional 1 die to roll 4 or 5.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah, like I think putting 2 on there, like that's essentially another die that we have for 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Which like that sounds really good.
And
to
on
me.
roll 2, we're already at 91%. We like rolls 4 and 5 are the lower percentages right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'd want to
Yeah, well,
buff those.
Roll 2 is variable. We're at 91% to get
Yeah.
any success at all.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so where are we sitting those nudges?
I have them down on roll 3.
I think
Roll
3 is
3.
best.
Mhm.
So
3.
we're at 4
Mhm.
nudges on 3.
Mhm.
Oh, great.
Mhm.
So
That's
that's +1 die to 4 and 5.
That's
If
super good.
if roll 3 is successful,
Oh.
like if you get nothing on roll 3,
Oh.
then you're nudging a failure, right?
Mhm.
So it's a little different.
But I mean, nudging a failure is still good.
These dice are gonna screw us over so
Probably.
much.
Yeah,
I know
we're gonna
it.
exit the spirits challenge and we'll take a break. So moving on from the spirits challenge, first we'll go to the solar, where we have Eliane, Addison, a couple of servants, and Maevis. And so to start, I guess, Eliane, what are you doing initially? You've assessed Maevis. So what's happening? So I will
Okay.
say, with your wits check you did before,
Oh,
I
okay.
think you would know, and this is like a player character knowledge thing. The immediate concern, actually more so than the bleeding, is her going into shock. And so that's related to the
Yep.
hypothermia. So although the bleeding does need to be stopped right away,
Mhm.
the
She's-
warming is
She's too
pretty
cold.
important.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so she'll like start like taking off like Mavis's clothes and like ask one of the servants like, "Can you please bring her like the warmest clothes she has from her room?"
Okay.
Um,
Or well, and
Because,
they can pull off
like, even
like
if she's gonna-
blankets.
yeah.
So yeah, you're
Blanket.
making efforts. So yeah, make a wits to see how well you're able to like determine the best choices.
Yeah.
Big wits,
Um,
Eliane, let's go.
And you
Scale?
can add your trait.
Any difficulty?
Yeah, I'm gonna say difficulty 3.
Okay.
Hey.
4 is great.
Nice.
Wonderful.
4.
Good.
Perfect.
Very good.
So I'm gonna count that as you've had 2 successful rolls. You had the successful
Mhm.
assessment roll and the successful Eliane knows what to do in this situation roll.
Mhm.
So because of that, I'm going to add that as 2 positive circumstances, which together can add a dice. And so now we're going to make the first challenge roll, which is, does Maevis' heart stop from the shock of hypothermia and the blood loss?
Okay.
Wow. We're doing this right now. No dialogue. Right now.
Yeah. Well, the first one, it's in the first couple minutes. So
Yeah, sure.
Instant. Yep.
Yeah.
this is going to be 8 dice due to Eliane's additional intervention.
Okay. All right.
And
Hell
it's
yeah,
a
Eliane.
difficulty.
Thanks, Feather.
It's a difficulty 2.
Hell yeah.
And since
Okay. 94%, baby.
And since Eliane's there, I'm gonna say Eliane, you go ahead and make that roll. So roll.
Okay, Verónica.
I don't think I can watch. I don't think I can watch.
I have everything set. Come on.
Or
Oh!
and a nudge.
Woo! No instant death. Hell yeah.
Great. She's holding on.
So,
Only one nudge, so that's not actually helpful. So you can just bank that nudge then for your own
Okay.
use. But okay, and then we're gonna do a second roll right away. And this roll
Okay.
is to determine the level of medical assistance that is available this weekend at the
Wow.
Alariel estate. So who has like medical knowledge? And so it's a spirits roll. It's basically, is Maevis lucking out?
yeah.
And so it's a sliding scale because the better the roll, the more people with medical knowledge and the better medical knowledge who are able to like show up
Okay.
right away.
Okay. That's fun, man.
Yeah. So this is we've given 4 dice to this, so this is a 6 dice roll. There's no way to help with it. Who would like to make this roll for Maevis?
I vote Dier.
I can roll. All right,
Yeah,
6
do it.
dice, and we need at least a 1 for there to be a person who could help. Right?
Yeah. Well, you already have Eliane, so you have like,
Eliane.
so we're looking in addition.
How much knowledge
Alright.
does Prelon Verity have?
All right, I am rolling.
Oh
You're
no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, that's so bad. Why did you
That
guys
is
make me
so
do
bad.
this? We don't
Because
get roll 3 now. Roll
So,
3's gone.
Eliane, a servant, I'll say, does come up with a medic kit, but it seems like of the assembled people so far, you are the one who knows the most of what you're
Oh my
doing.
god.
Oh, I'm
so-
really
Dice was so good. 6 dice
Most
was
of what
so
we
good.
put on 3 was nudges.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's
That's
like
true.
it's not
That's
a
true.
huge
Yeah.
loss.
That is true.
It's true.
Definitely true. True. Yeah, like if we had reduced like done too much on
Yeah.
die 3,
Yeah.
that would yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Maevis.
So-
Come on, Maevis.
Matt, my heart is beating so fast. If anyone
I'm gonna go
listening,
into
like
shock.
I need medical attention pretty soon. I hate you so much.
All right. Okay.
So, Eliane is working on stabilizing Maevis. We're with help. You're getting her out of her clothes. You're getting her warm. And you're moving on to like trying to manage the bleeding. You notice a number of puncture wounds. You're familiar with these because they are coin shots. Yeah,
Okay.
or lurcher. You don't know, but they're coin projectile wounds. And yeah, I think we'll leave you for now in that state because now the whole manor is kind of getting roused.
One quick question regarding the coin wounds. The coins, like, are they there or aren't they there? Because like if they're there, they're stopping the bleeding on their own. And
Yeah.
that's
So
what-
some of them are it varies. And like you can kind of see like some wounds are deeper than others. And some might have the coins in. So
Okay.
part of what Eliane is doing is assessing, okay, do I need to pull something out, put pressure? Like that sort of thing. So we'll leave you for a moment.
Great.
We won't come in right away, but we'll go to Lucius first. At some point, Lucius, you start to hear a commotion and people saying, everyone down to the atrium. There's an attack. Everyone get out. Yeah, and you see like they're knocking on doors. They're waking people up in your hallway.
Okay.
And you see Verity rush past and she's very stressed and says, "What is the meaning of this? What's going on?" But you don't see anyone else exit your hallway.
Okay.
You and Tennille Urbane is passed out
Yes.
on your floor.
Yep.
And you are there. But other than
Yes.
you two and Verity, it doesn't seem like anyone else is in that wing.
Okay, so I assume it's like the servants like knocking on doors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will come out of the room next to mine, as that is where I was napping. And I'll grab one of the servants. I assume the servant knocking on my door. And she'll be like, "What is happening?"
I'm sorry, my lord. We don't know all the information yet, but there's some type of security threat, and so for safety, we're asking all guests to move down to the atrium.
Okay. And then I'm gonna like take them by the wrist, and I'm gonna be like, "Lady Bane is inside there. If you could get her out back to her room discreetly," and I kind of squeeze the wrist a little, "that would be greatly appreciated."
Sir, this is an emergency.
Yes,
I think
I'm
we're supposed to
aware.
get everyone down to the atrium.
She's not going to go on her own, I can tell you now.
They kind of like lean over you and see her pass out with pillow. Make a. How are you trying to pressure this servant to be discreet with how he handles Lady Urbane?
I'm not trying to be intimidating. I'm trying to be like, "You're doing me a favor here," kind of. If I had cash on me, I'd slip in money, but I don't carry my own money. I have people for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say roll a charm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this isn't. You didn't luck out. This isn't the servant who came with you.
This isn't one of mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the difficulty? I've got 4 dice.
A 2.
Go 2. Hey,
Great.
lots of pair of 4s and a pair of 5s.
Yeah. So the servant says, absolutely, my lord. We will get her back to her room and then down to the atrium. We're familiar with Lady Urbane at the Ilarial estate. So we will... yeah, I think Lord Solace would also want this handled discreetly. So we'll take care of it.
You're
and
smart.
the servant goes off to get someone to help them with Lady Urbane. You're left alone in the wing, and Maevis's door is still ajar.
Oh, so as the obligator, she's gone. Or the
The obligator, yeah, she was pretty like business. She's like, what's going on here? Because you'll recall she's personally responsible for enforcing the ministry's edict against violence this weekend. So if there's a security concern, she's pretty concerned about it.
Mavis did say she was going to give me the book in the morning, so he's not going to try and sneak in.
Does he check to see if Maevis is in the room or is okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna open the door since it's closed, since it's open, and I'm just gonna be like, Maevis.
So you don't see Maevis in the room.
Oh no! What do I see in the room? What does the room look like?
So I'm assuming, would it be fair to say that Lucius would look like just kind of check on the journal as well?
Yeah, go on then.
What is Lucius all looking like? He's looking for Maevis.
He's basically at the door just looking inside. He'd look over to her, like, I assume she's got some big makeup table, I can't remember what you call them, with all the mirrors on it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just take a little
vanity.
peek. Can I see a vanity? There you go. Yeah, I'll just take a little peek.
So you notice there's a chill despite the roaring fire. There's a roaring fire in the fireplace, but there's also a chill in the room. You see a window blowing in the wind that's clattering against the frame. So Maevis's window is open. And on the vanity, you see a familiar notebook open on the table. There's a stack of loose pages next to it. So it seems like after you met with Maevis, maybe she started doing what she told you what she was gonna do. So yeah, the window's open, fire's going, and yeah, the journal seems to be open with some pages missing, or like pulled out. So what does Lucius do?
I'm gonna close the door behind me. I'm getting a weird vibe.
Killing me.
I'm getting a weird vibe from the room. So I'm gonna go close the window.
Okay.
Does anything happen to me? Do I see anything outside as I gotta close the window?
No, you don't see anything outside.
Okay. I close the window, and then I'm gonna go over.
Roll. You could roll something to see if you want to, but just off.
He's not like looking out. He's just closing the window. I just want to know if anything happens to it. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
No,
Close the window, and I'm going to go over to the thing. And so I'm getting the book in the morning, right? I'm not worried about the book right now. I'm interested in the little sheaf of papers, because I'm a Snoopy bitch. So
We need this info.
We do.
Yes.
We really need it.
So I'm going to take a look at the papers, and I'm going to read the top one.
So they're kind of turned over. So do you start from like the top one would technically be the back? Like she's like been ripping them out and like
putting them face down.
Yeah.
In that case, I pick up the stack and I read like what would be the first one. Like send it upside down.
Okay. So the first thing on the stack, actually, when you're flipping it, a smaller note falls out that's kind of separate.
Ooh.
It was kind of rolled, like, so it's a different piece of paper from the notebook. So this is something that she like tucked into it at some point. And so the first note, I'm assuming you read.
Yes.
Okay. Let me give this exposition, please.
I assume you're literate.
Yeah.
Yes, this character's literate, yeah.
So the note reads, "Very well, you've made your point. Be at the docks 2 hours before midnight. My man will have the information you seek. Pray you never find yourself in a situation that requires my discretion. Your kindness towards me will not be forgotten." And kindness is in quotes.
Okay.
And flipping through the pages, it appears to be a journal. So Maevis does a lot of things, writes about a lot of things. I'll say roll a wits check.
Yep.
And the result is the number of things you can quickly skim through to get kind of the gist of.
I will say one of the things is I am looking out for the name Addison. I want to know, like, I'm still so suspicious of Addison. So yeah, I'll roll a wits. There's 3 dice. I rolled 0. However, I got 2 nudges, which puts me up to... I changed page. Where am I? I'm up to 7 nudges, so I'm going to use 6 of them.
Is that all from this session?
Yep, I got 3 on my very first roll, and then I got 2 and then I got 2 later on.
Okay, I believe you. No, that's great.
Yeah.
So so you get a 1 then.
I'm going to use 2. I'm going to use 6 of them.
6.
So I'm going to get 2.
Okay. So So
this feels important.
2 topics are you? Well, there'll be more time to read over the journal.
Okay.
Potentially, depending what you do with it. But this is just what are you kind of quickly able to
I look up for the name. I would like a piece of information on Addison, maybe like the first time her name's mentioned. And then the second one can just be a general something that jumps out at me as interesting. So your pick.
Okay. So, and I'm giving you for free. You said you were starting at the beginning. So I'm going to give you kind of the gist of the beginning. And then in addition, I'll give you something on Addison and then dealer's choice. So the first entry reads, "Still the question lingers. Did he ever really love me? I've always prided myself on my ability to discern lies from truth. I've been surrounded by liars my entire life and count myself among their number. I was born into the lie of a broken empire pretending to be a paradise. I was raised by the lie of warring kin pretending to be a family. And I became the lie of a woman who could find meaning in beautiful things. A lie is like a stained glass window, obscuring reality with pretty amusement. People will tolerate even the most obvious falsehoods if they don't want to see the ugly truth. Everyone knows the most detailed tableau is still a poor imitation of the real thing. But if you don't open the window to look outside, you've still been fooled. Are we so desperate for delusion that we can accept a few panes of colored glass as proof that our world isn't broken? Love can be the prettiest lie of all, I think. But if it's not true, what was he hiding?" And the journal goes on to describe an affair Maevis had with a man named Chess, who is Julian's bodyguard.
So yes. This could be information.
So she writes about she met him at one of the dive bars that you've gone to Maevis with before. You know, she kind of gets a thrill from visiting seedier establishments. And she recognized him because she had seen him in Julian's company. And they hit off a kind of, very passionate love affair. It talks about it's very turbulent. There was lots of ups and downs. She talks about that. And then the reason why she's now wondering if his feelings are real in that initial entry, she also writes about the fire in a pretty detailed account. So she says how she joined the rest of the family after speaking with Charisse Venture, just as Julian was finishing his business proposal. She writes how Chess shared a secret smile with her before he attacked her brother Vasha, and the room dissolved into chaos. She describes her mother and several others being cut down as shards of glass exploded from the window, and flames erupted from outside, below, and out in the hallway. How her father, a Mistborn, saved her first, choosing her over her grandmother or anyone else in the room, got her out, and then shot back in to try to save other people. She writes about how she watched Vasha and Chess, dueling coin shots, also streak out and push each other in and out of the building multiple times. And she describes how, and Maevis is a very good writer, so it's like quite vivid for Lucius. It's quite gripping. So she's also describing her feelings of being frozen in place and eyes being unable to know, do I watch for Chess and Vasha? Do I watch for my father? What do I write about? She also says that she heard sounds of fighting elsewhere in the yard. She couldn't decide. She knew she wanted her father to live, but she guiltily wasn't sure if she wanted Chess or Vasha to live. But was kind of leaning towards Chess, actually. And after the account continues, and so later on, her father limps out of the wreckage towards her, Pewter barely keeping him on his feet. And he told her, and she writes this out in dialogue, like she remembers the words that well. Yeah. I'm sorry, I couldn't get the others in time. I failed. And he reaches for the belt, his belt where his last metal vial is. And as he grabs it, she realizes the glass is hot from the flames, and he burns himself and flinches. And then she watches as the vial collapses on the ground and shatters. And with it, her father's potential salvation. So he then runs out of pewter and collapses as well. And later the obligators tell her that without pewter, his lungs had sustained too much damage from being in the fire trying to save people to survive. Wanting to know about Addison, she does come up in the account. At some point before Maevis's father comes out, Addison finds her. She had been walking the gardens at the time and kind of came when she heard commotion. And so Addison comes to Maevis, and Maevis describes being in shock. Like, this is from her point of view, so she's not really aware of what Addison is doing, but she knows Addison, like, put something around her. And then the two, eventually, they leave her father's body, and because Addison says, Maevis, it's not safe, we need to go. And Addison is the one who kind of pulls Maevis out of her shock. And together they walk to the town. Away from the manor together. And that's how the two of them escaped the fire.
That's lots of protests.
Holy crap, Matt.
Ben, thank you for going to read the journal.
God,
as much as I could. I wrote as much as I could.
So there's a lot there.
There's a lot
I
there.
will also say you asked about, so two other things.
Yeah.
Okay.
You asked about
More.
Addison.
I thought that was my one
Cool.
thing that wasn't about Addison.
No, so that's just the initial entry.
Yeah.
Like, this is how she started writing.
First couple of pages, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to send you something that she has drawn in the journal as your one added thing.
Love this.
I'm gonna
Love
send
this.
that
Love
to
this.
you. So you can share this or not share it at your leisure.
See, you've been preparing.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Ben, you cannot say that and not share it.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay,
Are you
okay.
gonna keep it?
I would like a moment to process it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Okay.
acceptable.
Well,
that's
okay,
acceptable.
maybe I'll also maybe say what the points. So you're skimming through the rest for
Yeah.
Addison's name, right?
Mhm.
Surprisingly, after that initial entry, you don't see Addison's name come up much at all.
Okay, interesting.
And if you want to think about that further, you can ask a question or make a check. But yeah, you're not really seeing.
Sorry. Okay, so what Matt sent me is the equivalent, of a wallboard with like a bunch of things written on it and arrows. He has sent me an extremely extensive one of those. And so I need a minute.
Yeah, well, Ben, maybe let's come back to that. I know it's tempting. I should have done the Addison stuff first.
You're okay.
I'll let you come back. We'll cut to the others soon, and then you can digest.
Yes, let me think about things. Lucius is reading. Let's see what the others are doing.
Okay. I do just want to resolve this point on Addison, though. So.
Oh, okay. So Addison's name doesn't come up much. Yeah.
It's not coming up you can't find her name in the pages, which seems odd to you because, to your knowledge, Maevis has been spending the last 2 years pretty much constantly in Addison's company.
Yeah.
Addison was in the room.
So what I'm then going to do is I'm going to very quickly, put the pages down, go to the notebook with the rest of the pages that haven't been ripped out yet, and I'm going to quickly flick through the rest of the sections that Maevis mentioned, Maevis wrote, and just looking for Addison's name.
It's not there. But as you're coming across, you're noticing so far the ripped pages have been in order.
Yeah.
And you're noticing some other pages have been selectively ripped out of the journal.
Okay. So this that you've sent me.
Yeah.
Is this a page?
Yeah, that's a page, and it's in Maevis's handwriting.
I'm gonna take this page.
Okay.
And I'm gonna leave Maevis's room.
Okay. I will give you the chance to do a wits check.
Oh no.
For one other thing.
Okay. I've got 3 dice. What's the challenge?
I'll say 1 or 2. I'll give you something different.
Okay.
Either. Because Lucius is suspicious right now.
Oh no, I got 0 and 1 nudge, and so I don't have enough nudges to boost it.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
Nope. That is what it. Yep. So so you take the page, and you start, and you leave the rest of the journal in place, or do you take anything else with you?
God, I could do a really smart thing, but I'm not in a state to do smart. Should I do a smart thing? Okay, cool. I'm going to do a smart thing. I'm going to get the loose papers on the desk, and I'm just going to throw them across the room. Right? I'm going to get them and then I'm going to go open the window again to make it look like they've just been blown across the room by the window, and then I'll leave.
Okay. I did say at the beginning there was a roaring fire in the fireplace. Do you take any steps to make sure that loose paper does not?
Oh no, I forgot about that. No, I'm not thinking that
that's why
smart.
I'm reminding you. Yeah.
Cool.
Because Lucius would be in the room. If you're in the room throwing paper around, you would see the fire.
Yeah.
You can toss it away from the fire if you want.
Yeah, sure.
Well, what I was thinking was, just the stack of paper on the desk, and then I just went whoomp, like that with them.
Okay.
Without really thinking.
Okay. But you leave the fire going, you leave everything else as it was.
Yes.
Okay. I feel bad. Well, no, I feel like I maybe didn't make this clear. The fireplace has a glass slide, right?
Okay.
It is open. That's part of why it's that's why I'm talking about it being dangerous with the paper.
Yeah.
Because the fireplace is open.
Okay, once I notice that, then I will then close the shutter on the fire, so nothing accidentally ends up in there.
Yeah, let's not burn down the manor a second time. That'd be great.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you close the fireplace, leave the window open, and then you start heading downstairs.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. We're gonna pause here for a quick 5-minute intermission. If you're currently watching the premiere for this episode, you can take this opportunity to go on a break, check back on any scenes you missed, or just enjoy the music, character sheets, and other bonus content that we have on display. If you're watching this episode after it premieres, you can actually skip this intermission using the chapter links in the video description. Either way, enjoy the show. So in the atrium, we have guards. Now servants are running. They're calling for Lord Ilariel to be woken up. They're calling for the obligator to be brought in. Captain Sallow approaches the three of you, Jenna, Dier, and Sylvain, and says, what in the Lord Ruler's name is going on? Please be short and tell me what happened.
We were attacked by an enemy coin shot. Dier, who was that?
Has Sylvain let Dier go?
I mean,
He's
like,
still
if like the
holding it.
guards started approaching, like, I'm assuming like he would
Didn't
back
Matt
off.
say that they broke them apart earlier?
They were going to break them apart. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think like Dier's still just sort of trying to get his bearings. He's super overwhelmed. He's still in his wet clothes, shivering pretty badly, probably. And he's just I think he sort of tunes back in on Jenna's voice when she asks him a direct question and says, it was her brother. It was Vasha. Maevis recognized him too, and I would know him anywhere. I didn't get a good look at his face, but I heard him speak, and I would know his allomancy anywhere. I mean,
His
he
face was
trained me.
burned.
I mean, he's supposed to be
You-
dead.
You three need to come with me right now.
Understood.
Where's Maevis? I'm not
She's-
leaving until I see her.
She's
I think he tries to leave.
Are you
He's gonna
able-
try to walk off?
The captain will put him by the shoulder and he'll say, do you have medical training?
My sister does. Is she in there? Is
I
someone
think-
with her?
I think she is. If you don't have medical training, there's nothing you can do to help her.
Damn it.
And you three need to come with me.
Is Sylvain coming with?
Is that
I'm
all three?
one of the three. so
Okay, yeah,
yes.
just clarifying if we were being separated or not. That's
No,
all.
the three of you are
Okay.
being taken.
Hmm.
Oh, one note that I forgot about. When you brought Maevis into the atrium, the two acrobats were there just chatting.
Oh, in the solar.
So-
in the solar.
In the
Oh,
solar,
yeah.
in the solar. Yeah,
Nice.
in the solar.
Oh, boy.
So they've been, it's not really
They didn't get to
consequential,
go
but
to
they,
bed yet? Yikes.
no, they've been helping out with the like triage, like
Okay.
grabbing.
They have
things,
ribbons
like-
to help, like
yeah.
you know, easy.
Yeah. So the acrobats will say are helping. So he's gonna take you to the main floor lounge, where Faisal, the terrace steward, is waiting.
Could I say something as we're walking?
Mhm.
Jenna will put her hand on Dier's shoulder and just say, "You were incredible." I can't believe it.
What if it wasn't enough?
It was.
I think he just keeps looking at the solar, like he's in such distress.
And
I know,
I'll say,
I know.
Jenna, you also notice that Dier isn't looking good and is shivering.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like his breathing is elevated.
You need to get your wet clothes off, or you'll die too.
Fine, whatever.
Nobody's dying today, Dier.
They better not.
The grace of the Lord Ruler will protect us.
And he'll as they're walking, he'll start to like take his jacket off and such. But he
doesn't have
a jacket. He doesn't have a coat. He does
Oh, okay,
probably still
okay.
have like just his
Okay.
suit jacket from the
Okay.
party. No, he does not have a coat. I was specific about that foolishly.
Mhm. I mean, it would be wet at this point anyway, so
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't be
Yeah,
helpful.
yeah.
Okay, so the captain will lead you in, and then he'll say, I believe Lord Ilariel is on his way. I'm gonna go make sure the perimeter has been secured.
Very good.
are we dealing with multiple allomancers? One coin shot? Did they seem
Vasha.
to burn any other metals?
He was alone.
He had an employer. He said he
Okay.
came on the employ of someone else, but it was just Vasha. Yes, Dier?
He
You
was
didn't see
all I
anything
saw.
else? Okay.
And Faisal will say, yes, I'll take this from here, Captain. Secure the perimeter. And then Faisal will also ask for like a recap. Yeah, he'll say, now, while we wait for Lord Ilariel, please tell me exactly what just happened.
I think Jenna will just immediately take the lead. Dier's not in good shape anyway, and Jenna would take command anyway, right, Alyx?
He may interrupt you.
Yeah,
if
sure.
he thinks
Cool.
of
But
something,
Jenna's
yeah,
immediately going to start, right?
He will let Jenna take the lead. For
Yeah.
sure.
Addison came to my room asking for me to meet with Maevis on the docks. When I arrived, there was another man there, Vasha, as we now know. Vasha attacked Maevis and attempted to kill her. I did my best to try and break them apart. And she had vials. Maevis had vials on her, and Vasha pushed them, and so Maevis was on the lake, and he shot coins. By then, Dier was skulking around. I don't know. He came and he helped fight off Vasha. I could not retrieve Vasha, but Vasha shot Maevis into the lake, and I told Dier to get Maevis, and he dove into the lake and he got Maevis out. Is Maevis Mistborn?
No, she's not. She
Damn, no pewter
and
then.
he'll
Faisal
kind of
will look at you, Dier, at that
Mhm.
and say, you're sure it was Lord Vasha?
I'm certain. Look. I've trained in steel with Vasha for more than a decade. I would know him anywhere. And Maevis, she said his name as well.
Yes.
You think she wouldn't
Maevis
recognize her own
recognized
brother?
Maevis recognized him.
Who
Maevis was
else
surprised that
have you told this information to?
all of this, you just now, I was carrying in Maevis to get her. You're the first person.
Did you know? Did you know he was alive?
We knew there was someone. This should wait for Lord Ilariel.
Very good. But
I'm so sick of
but you
Artemis
haven't
household.
mentioned Lord Vasha to anyone else besides the people who are in this room right now.
Why would you try to protect him? He tried to kill her. His own sister.
I'm not
And
trying
tried to kill me.
protect him, but this is delicate information,
Yeah.
and I just
Fine.
yeah.
Sallow was still here when Dier first mentioned Vasha,
Oh,
but
right.
he since
yeah.
left.
Oh yeah, we would mention that. Mentioned it to
Okay.
the guard. And mentioned that like we said it to at least the guards around there.
I see.
I will say Dier's not keeping his voice down at all.
Yeah.
Fair.
Faisal will go to the door and whisper something to like a runner, and then send the runner off. And he'll say, "Well then, Lord Ilariel is being roused and should be down shortly."
Can we get Dier to the fire, please?
Yes,
Who
of
cares
course.
about me? Ugh.
I do, Dier.
Here,
Go to the
and
fire.
and Faisal gestures, and a servant runs off and returns with some blankets. And a servant, one of the valets actually comes and starts helping you off, like holds up a blanket and helps you out of the rest of your clothes, and then wraps you in it. So if you'll let that happen,
He'll change into dry clothes if he can. But
they don't have like a full outfit down there, but they give you like just some like servant garb basically to cover yourself, like pants and a
Snuggly
shirt.
blanketed Dier. Oh,
Yeah.
so cute.
And is Dier just standing around, or is he sitting somewhere?
I think he's probably staying by the fire because Jenna probably told him to. He may be sitting there and like trying to unpick his very messy wet braid so that his hair will dry a little faster. He looks miserable. He looks so bad.
So I think Seth would go over, my dog, who's a source of fluffy warmth, and try to warm up Dier.
Faisal's keeping an eye on you, but there is a bit of a moment here if you guys want to have any conversation.
Sylvain, Vasha was in the fire. This man could have caused the fire and caused Julian's death. We just fought him.
He's better than when I last saw him too. He's gotten better. Why would he attack her? I know they never really got along, but I didn't ever think it was that bad. And I think he like gives Sylvain such a bitter look because he's remembering what Sylvain said about him and Maevis, and like wants to ask about it but doesn't want to do it in front of Jenna.
Sylvain definitely seems a little over. He's out of his depth. Like I just received a lot of information and he is processing.
Lord Sylvain, I don't know what you think. Dier went into the lake to save Maevis. I swear it upon the true name of the Lord Ruler. And if you know anything about me, that means a lot. I don't know. I do not have time for stupid games. This is dangerous, and I need your help. I need everyone's help. Because otherwise there will be more death. That cannot be allowed.
All I knew was that Maevis had been attacked by a coin shot. And since
Understood.
I knew Maevis was planning to meet with Dier tonight, and given
he flinches
their relationship,
Hard.
their previous relationship,
Jenna just looks at Dier. Because Jenna didn't overhear that part.
Yeah, no, she didn't.
And like, to be clear, like Sylvain isn't saying they were former lovers. He's just like, given their past relationship generic.
I mean, I like you phrasing it that way because he wasn't unclear with Dier what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Lord Sylvain, could I have a moment with Lord Dier, if you don't mind?
Oh no! What's the problem? Don't we all know at this point?
And
I would simply.
Faisal is sitting in the corner of this room too.
Yeah.
Like you guys are not being left unsupervised.
Yeah.
Did Maevis tell you she was planning on meeting with me tonight? Since apparently she told you all of our other secrets.
Yes, how did you learn this? This is news to me, though, Lord Dier.
Well, you aren't exactly privy to all of the things that I have going on in my life. You can hardly stand me.
Indeed, but perhaps now it is time for us to learn some new things about each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dier would pick up that, like, that's not venomous.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think he kind of sits and squirms a little bit because he really doesn't want to talk about it, but...
We need to know, Dier. And that's sort of... Jenna just, like, says that and, like, looks into his eyes. It's like, I need to know.
Look, you and me and Lucius and Maevis have been friends for how long, right? But
long time.
I know that you and Lucius have never cared for me, but Maevis was different. I was training with her brother all of the time, and we spent a lot of time together, all right? She actually liked me, I thought. And yes, there was a point in our friendship at which that friendship had certain benefits. It wasn't it didn't matter. Like, it certainly wasn't a courtship at all. And he's very intent about like trying to specify that for Jenna. That it wasn't serious on his part.
And Jenna just like looks into his eyes and is like, Jenna's pretty calm and understanding and just like, no malice, just, when was that? How long before the fire?
Right up until it. You see, that was for so long, every single person in my life has always looked at me like I was a problem to be solved. My family, everyone I talked to at court. But Maevis was different. And Vasha was different. Vasha actually cared about me, about my well-being, not just about the fact that I wasn't being a useful enough tool for whoever needed my allomancy. And in one night, I lost both of them. The night of the fire, Vasha was dead, or so we all thought. And Maevis wanted nothing to do with me. She came to see me a few days after the fire. And it was clear that she was still messed up about it all. She was looking for some sort of distraction, and I was more than happy to provide, but I made the mistake of mentioning Vasha, and she went cold. She closed off immediately and just left. And yes, he wasn't kind to her, and we used to fight about that, but I thought she just needed time. I thought she was going through a lot. She went off on her little jaunt through the countryside and came back with a lot of lovely little low-born friends, and he like points at Sylvain as he's saying this.
Mhm.
And
Dier.
I just waited. I waited for her to say something, that to do anything, to say that our friendship meant anything to her. And you know what? I saw her at some social event or another. Months after, she's surrounded by her new little gaggle because she's Maevis Ilariel. She can get anyone she wants. She could make anyone feel special. And the moment she caught sight of me across the room, she excused herself so that I wouldn't even have a chance to speak with her.
Jenna just like puts her hand on Dier and just says, "I'm sorry, Dier. Maevis was cold to me too, but I understand that is not the same. But you saved her, and I understand why you. I see the complexity of the situation, and I need you to know, Dier, from everyone, you are not a tool. Everyone." And so she emphasizes that.
I just need her to live.
Lord Ilariel comes to the door. He's in his he's like in a robe, like a night dress robe, and he speaks quietly with Faisal, and says,
Lord
"Well,
Ilariel.
I've here," and he kind of looks at who's in the room, taking note of the three of you specifically. "I hear there's been an eventful evening.
Quite right, Uncle.
Is there any news on her condition?
We don't have much of in the way of on-staff medical team, but
Doesn't the Prelon know? She's Inquisition. She probably knows certain things.
Apparently, her focus was not in that area.
Damn it.
It is unfortunate, but your sister, Lord Dier, Lady Eliane, is proving quite knowledgeable, and with the assistance of a medic from the garrison that we have here. I haven't checked in to see where she's at, but they're working on it."
Good.
Good.
She knows what she's doing. She's patched me up more than once.
Very good.
I just can't. How did this? You're sure? And he looks at you, Dier. It was Vasha.
And would Solus be aware of like how extensively Dier trained with Vasha? Okay. You know that I would know him.
To some extent.
His face was burned, Uncle.
Hopefully, my niece lives and she can confirm all this. We're securing the perimeter.
Do you have a Mistborn here?
He hesitates. Yeah, you can see he's still being careful about how much information he shares.
But understood, Uncle. But just deploy what you have.
We are marshaling what we have, and we have a messenger on their way back to Luthadel and to Lakeside as well, both to the other Ilarial interests, but also to the Ministry. I know Preland Verity also included a note with our courier, so
good.
It's
if an
we're
Inquisitor can arrive, that would be good.
Lord Ruler, I hope they don't send one of those monsters.
Well,
Which
would you
might
prefer
be-
that or prefer to be dead? Sorry, Uncle. That was out of turn. I'm under a bit of stress.
Absolutely. The servants, the orchestra has started some music, and the servants are passing around some hot cocoa in the atrium. We're just keeping everyone together right now until the guards can confirm that the perimeter is secure.
Very good.
You said Vasha, he seemed to leave?
Yes.
I didn't see. I was in the lake.
He went into the
He
mist.
got away?
I tried to get him.
Okay.
I do not know where he could be.
We'll keep our eyes alerted for him. Your friend Lucius, he's a known seeker, right?
Yes.
If you could ask him to keep his bronze burning in the proximity to the solar.
When I see him, I shall.
I'd ask that no one do anything drastic, and please keep this information between those who already know, so that until we determine if Vasha had any help or has any loyalties or agents,
Indeed,
we need to keep all information closely secured.
Indeed, I swear it, Uncle. I'll pay Verity later. Will you also swear? I look to Dier, Sylvain, and the Terraceman.
Whatever. I'll do whatever you want.
Of course.
Good.
Very well. Well, go back. Thank you for your assistance in giving my niece a chance. And
it was close. Dier is a very good coin shot.
Not good enough.
We got her out of the lake, Dier. You did that. Remember that.
I'm sorry. I need to
Understood. Can we leave this chamber?
Yes, head to the atrium. Make yourselves as comfortable as possible. The servants will be bringing chairs as well. As I said, the orchestra is playing. There's hot cocoa. And hopefully we can secure the perimeter shortly and move on with things. Unfortunately, due to the blizzard, it'll be some time before any carriages or horse traffic can come or go. The roads are completely blocked. So the only way in and out right now is with steel. And he kind of looks at you meaningfully, Dier, and he says, like, I will expect everyone here to stay until this matter is resolved.
I don't believe we'll be leaving without a very alive and well Maevis.
I'm not going anywhere.
Well,
Although I
back-
would not mind leave to go get some of my own clothes, perhaps.
yes,
If-
of course.
Let us get a servant, and we shall. I'm a bit bloodied myself.
He gestures for Faisal, and Faisal summons a servant, a female servant with Jenna, and a male servant with Dier. He said, but waste no time. There's still an enemy Allomancer potentially out there, and
Indeed.
it's not safe.
Sylvain is
ahead.
going to glance down at himself and not say anything because he doesn't want to
fair enough.
interrupt the high nobles that are having a conversation right now.
Yeah. So as they leave, though, Lord Solace will say, Lord Sylvain, could I actually trouble you for just a moment? There's something
trouble
that's
at
come to
all.
our attention about your aunt that while you're here, I'd like to discuss with you.
Of course.
And
So
I
do
assume
Dier-
we leave to go get changed.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
Sylvain successfully dodged the question of how he knew that the meeting was happening.
Sure did.
Thank you,
Uh,
Jenna.
So once they're gone, Solace will
Jenna
turn
has
to
her
you.
own priorities, you know.
He'll say, well, obviously, Lord Sylvain, your investigation has become more pressing, and it's even more unfortunate that your aunt is unable to join us.
Yes.
Have you been able to discover anything in your time speaking with any of the assembled nobility, or in your proximity to my niece and her friends?
No, he's not going to say that. He feels sorry for Dier right now.
Dier's in a pretty pathetic state. I would
Yeah.
admit.
Like, do I tell Solace Dier killed his father right now? Nah.
Oh man.
Whoa!
No.
Holy
It's like
crap.
that's like an immediately like no, like I should not say that.
Ooh, yeah, that's a big one.
Oh, yikes.
And-
Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah. Right now he doesn't think Dier is. If he still thought Dier was responsible for what happened to Maevis, like he might have. Sylvain would give his accounting of events of Lady Addison fetching him at his room, saying that she was watching Maevis meet. That's interesting. Because she said she was watching Maevis meet with Addison, and then an Allomancer attack.
She was
You mean
watching
Jenna?
Mavis
Meet with
meet with
Jenna.
Jenna. Yeah.
That's yes,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't match what Jenna said. Jenna came out and Maevis was talking with Vasha.
So what does Sylvain tell Solace in this situation?
He says nothing yet, unfortunately.
We have our guests all captive in the atrium right now. So I want to our time is short. It might become
Mhm.
suspicious if we speak too long.
Mhm.
But I'd like you to try to find out whatever you can from the assembled nobility. If there's any allies of this assailant amongst them, I'll want to know that right away.
Of course, I'll do what I can.
Is there any information you need from me before continuing your efforts?
No,
Right then.
nothing I can think of.
Speak with Faisal will be milling around. Signal him and speak with him privately if you need to make a report. He'll pass along any further information to me. Thank you, Lord Sylvain.
Lord Hilaire.
And we have one of our couriers' instructions. One of the notes they have is for your aunt. So we will be updating her and seeing if she can lend us any aid from Lakeside. with her contacts. If Vasha really is involved, Faisal knows our family better than I do, to be honest. He was my mother's right hand for many years. So if you need any background information, he can assist within the proper bounds, of course.
Vasha was the one in charge of the Ilarial Ska. Correct?
I believe, right? That's... And you can see Solace is pretty sure, but he's kind of doubting himself. And Faisal says, yes, my lord. He oversaw the taskmasters and the Ska population throughout the Central Dominance.
In our meeting earlier today, you said you were looking for a replacement for him. The duties of Felix as heir are significant.
Yes. Well, yes. So Felix has been overseeing Vasha's portfolio, also the information network portfolio, on top of his duties as heir. So we were hoping to offload the information portion onto your aunt if she proved suitable. The intention was for Felix to continue with the Ska portfolio and the taskmasters for the time being.
So Maevis would not have been a candidate for that.
My niece is a very talented and bright young woman, but I don't think there would be any use in giving her a task which she has no interest in.
Understood.
Now, but I must go, Lord Sylvain, so please return to the atrium and keep me informed. So before we cut back to the atrium and kind of come together, I think it's time to go back to the solar.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yes.
Not stressed
Come
about
on,
it at all.
Eliane. Eliane,
And
I'm so worried.
so
good thing you're here.
If Eliane wasn't here,
I was thinking this whole time. I was like, thank God Feather reminded me that I could add that trait. Like, if it weren't, I had no idea what I was gonna add. But weren't for Feather, this would have gone completely differently.
and there was a backstory
I'm
support
pulling
for
for
it.
Mavis.
Yeah, because
Through this.
the reason why. So normally I would skip roll 3, which is the medic roll, and just move on to the next. But since Eliane is here, I know Eliane already made a roll, but I'm going to let her roll her own wits to apply her medical knowledge. So what you're concerned with at this point, Maevis, you've managed to gradually warm Maevis. She's not in shock anymore, but there's the bleeding. So this roll is to determine where she's bleeding internally, to figure out, make sure to repair the wounds as best you can to stop the bleeding, to assess kind of how serious it is. So it's a wits.
Okay.
Your wits roll, you can add your trait, and the amount you contribute is determined on a scale. And you have 4 nudges.
Oh, so this is actually we're doing roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are doing okay.
Yeah. I'm letting you guys. Yeah, since you guys did pour some of your spirits into this, and Eliane is here, I'm letting her kind of step into the shoes.
So gracious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of the pool determined by roll 2, it's being drawn from her wits.
By her wits. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. She has a lot of those.
Yes.
So, anything else you want to add, Verónica?
I can't think of anything else. The nudges, how are they going to work in this case? Because
so the 4 nudges. So if you're successful, on top of whatever you contribute, there will be 1 additional die to roll 4 and roll 5.
Okay.
On top of whatever you accomplish with your roll, but the nudges only apply if you're successful.
For roll 4.
And we've -1 on the difficulty on this?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just got to get
minimum,
anything.
Just got to get a 1.
Anything.
Okay.
And if you have any banked nudges, you could use them to bump your results here.
I only have 2, so
So if you get another one in your
Yeah,
roll, though,
yeah.
you could.
Okay. Okay.
okay. Here goes.
Booyaka.
2,
2, baby!
Alex, so
And
that's
I
2
have 2
additional
nudges back.
nudges. So that's
Ooh.
6 nudges.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna use those. This is important.
Yeah. I'm just gonna make with a 2. Your skills are enough, and this kind of tracks. Like Eliane's not like a physician, but with help, your skills are enough to add 1 die to one of the rolls, and then you have 3 die from all the nudges. So I'm gonna just do 2 to each, if that's okay.
She rolled a 2, so shouldn't that enemy drop the difficulty?
Oh, right. So that's plus 2 dice. So you can add 3 dice to one and 2 to the other.
Hell yeah,
Ian. Yeah.
Thank you, Ian.
So which one do you want to add 3 to, and which one do you want to add 2 to?
So what difficulty is 4 at
So,
here?
Dice pool 7, difficulty 3, and 5 is currently dice pool 5, difficulty 1 or 2.
Ooh. We're in really good shape, actually.
Yes, we really
shape.
are. Wow.
It's
No.
like we have 4 dice that we can apply.
You have
so
5. 5.
5. Oh,
But I'm
okay.
gonna say
5.
you have to split them
2 to 1,
2 to
3.
3.
3 and 2.
Like 2 and 3. I'm not gonna let you do 4.
Okay.
You have 2 to put somewhere and 3 to put somewhere.
Probably putting 3 on
Three.
roll 4 is probably the best bet, right? Because what would that? We're
That's
looking
10
at these
dice.
probabilities, guys.
Yeah.
Because that would mean,
would bring you to 10 dice.
and so that would mean with the difficulty 3, we are almost
93%.
assured with 93%.
If we succeed on 4, we have 2 nudges, so that there'll be a +1 to 5.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And actually, yeah, Verónica just rolled 2 more nudges. So that would be plus an additional 2 to
So that's
5.
like
Oh,
9 dice, I think. Is that right?
So
I think we
7,
did 10 on number 4 and maybe
10 on 4 and 9 on 5.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
I can't believe we have so many dice at the end. Holy crap.
This is why
if our spirits rolls had been bad and we had not been able to buff all of these, like roll
It'd be
5
really bad.
started out at like 15% chance.
Well,
like,
even the fact, like, when I was balancing this, I was looking at the very real possibility that Dier and Jenna might get nothing. On their, because they had the lowest spirits.
But we used our advancements to power game this, baby. Yeah.
Which made sense based on your character choices you made last session.
it was a big moment on the
So I'll just say rolling 10 dice is pretty good. I experienced being against that last session, and it seemed pretty good. So I'll just say.
Yeah. So now, so Eliane, do you have anything else? So you're doing a passable job. It doesn't look like Maevis's injuries are too beyond the realm of what you're capable of handling. So that's lucky for you. And Addison is kind of on like your go person, and there's servants, there's like guards at the doors, and there's servants running in and out, like fetching you things, like clean water. You're trying to like prevent infection as you're working, keeping pressure. So yeah, you're managing the situation. Is there anything else you're wanting to do, or are you or say while you're working, or?
I mean, she's gonna be like concentrated, like doing the best that she can. Starting by the worst wounds and the ones that are, because she's very capable at dealing with like surface level wounds, like even like setting bones and all that. But any internal injuries, it's really, unless you're like trained in medicine, you're not going to be practicing anything like that. So it looks like as though most of like the wounds are like more surface level, but you would start with the ones that are deepest in, and it would be the hardest. And so if she can close that first, then
Yeah.
there'll be a higher chance of maybe surviving.
To your knowledge, it's what you can handle. So you're mainly concerned with stopping the bleeding, keeping stuff clean.
And
Maybe you're
keeping her
doing
warm,
like
making sure she.
yeah. I don't think Eliane's probably even doing like stitching necessarily, right? Because I think it's more like you're just trying to get the wounds closed, or like take coins out of her if there's a couple of embedded. So yeah, are you saying anything to Maevis or to Addison or to anyone there while you're?
Oh yeah, Addison's in here, right?
Yeah, Addison is here. Oh my god.
Can I ask how Addison has been acting through this?
Yeah.
How's she
That's a
looking?
good question, brother.
Addison
the
seems
audience.
very concerned, and she seems to be wanting to do whatever she can to help Maevis. She also has that kind of like game face on, like very cool under pressure. Like she's just focused on like, how do we save Maevis? Like she's in like a crisis situation, and so she's got that kind of mask of almost like robotic, like, you know, what's next? What do we do? Eliane could roll a wits to see if she can notice anything more, but
yeah, I think I'm gonna roll a wit to see if she'll notice
and
anything
I guess
more.
just so people know, there's some debate on how you do like perception-y type checks in Meg. I'm doing wits. Like if it was physically seeing or hearing, I would do physique, but since this is more of a mentally figuring out what's going on in Addison's brain, I'm doing wits.
Difficulty, is it a scale?
This would be a contest, actually.
Oh boy.
She seems to have a lot. Addison seems to have a lot of stats, so that's
she
concerning.
does. Which is exactly why I wanted to do this.
Yeah, it's true.
Because Addison.
So Addison will roll first. 0. Addison will bump it up to a 1 using her nudges, but so you gotta beat a 1.
Acceptable. Okay, here goes.
Yeah.
Get this.
Oh, that is so
okay.
many
All right.
Yes.
You see that Addison is you know Addison a little better actually than some of the other people here. So you see like Addison's very good at keeping cool and like keeping calm and appearing like nothing bothers her. Like you don't think you've ever seen her like flustered.
Except tonight.
But you
earlier.
can see behind it, her mind is like racing a mile a minute. Like she's focused. Her mind's kind of divided. Like when you have moments in between to catch a breath as you're working with Maevis, you can see the part of her brain that is focusing on the task at hand is very focused and direct. But you can see there's another part that is just spiraling and just panicking, actually, and like going through like, you know, possibilities, what this means. And with wits, you would know or remember, I think, that although Maevis and Addison appear very close personally, like there's an emotional connection there, apparently, from outside, Maevis is also kind of Addison's only connection to this world you all live in. Like her cousin is connected to Lord Solace, so that is something as well. But without Maevis, Addison wouldn't be anything.
Yeah.
And that's maybe not the only source of her panic or the cause of her panic, but you kind of pick up on that insight as you're working.
So Eliane is gonna like admit, like when she can like take a break, she's gonna be like, Addison, Maevis's wounds aren't too bad. She's gone out of shock now. Like, I know what I'm doing. I have the experience. She's not in any immediate danger of dying. You don't need to worry about that.
Okay.
Like, she's gonna try to calm like Addison down a bit.
And
Like,
Addison's
reassure
not
her.
gonna let on. She's just gonna say, "Yeah, no, you're doing really good, Eliane. It's incredible, actually."
If it's too much, like right now, to hear, like, go take a walk, come back.
I'd like to stay
know
and
it
help
can-
if that's okay.
No, that's fine. Just know that if you need a break, you can take one. There's a lot of input
Yeah.
in a situation like this where there's so much stress. It happens to all of us.
I'm fine, Eliane.
And so she's just gonna like go back and like keep working
Okay.
on Maevis, even if she isn't sure that Edison is being completely honest about it.
So that takes us back to the atrium, where the assembled guests are being gathered. And the first person to arrive is Lucius. So Lucius, you haven't been told anything other than that there is a security concern. So you see like Penn and Rianne and Kenton and Angelique and some of the others. Eventually, you do see a servant helping Lady Urbane down the stairs with her arm around them, and she kind of collapses in a chair in the corner and is getting some support.
Yes. Glass of water.
But you don't see right away. You don't see any of your friends.
Okay.
So,
do
you do anything?
I would say,
initially?
With the security situation going on, I would have started burning bronze. I refilled when I was in my room, so I've got like 6 files with me, so that's like 3 hours worth of bronze burning. So yeah, I'm just going to start burning bronze as a general bronze burning sense.
Yeah, you don't see anything unexpected at this point. I guess I will just do a quick rundown on who's there and who's not.
I would appreciate that, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I said Penn and Rianne, Kenton, Angelique, Loris, Tenebrian is there. Not
Lady
there.
Urbane passed out in a chair.
Lady Urbane is there. Lord Ilariel and Preland Verity are not. You don't see them.
Interesting.
Who else? Oh, and you see the performers have kind of gathered. So you see I don't think I've gone through all the performers yet because you guys didn't explore.
So the fortune teller's down there and stuff. And
The
everything?
fortune there's
Nice.
the fortune teller is
Nice.
down there. There is also the 2 acrobats come in at some point. There's the singer, the musicians are and they're playing some quiet music, kind of like soothing music to try to soothe. Servants are coming around with like blankets and hot cocoa. And
That's from the southern continent.
with the fortune teller, you see a small Kolos standing next to her. Which is
what?
Wait, next to who?
Here, the fortune teller.
Oh. What?
Like blue skin, spikes?
Like blue skin, like sagging, because it's like
Sagging?
a smaller Kolos.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
In the house?
So,
that may as well happen.
Sure.
I'm what are Penn and Rianne doing?
They're like whispering together in the corner like they normally do.
Okay.
I'm
gonna head up to them.
Okay.
I'm gonna, as I head over to them, I'm gonna like see one of the servants with the hot cocoa, and be like, and take a little sip, and then be like, It's too hot. Take it back. I want another one. And then shoot him away.
Yes, my lord. Right
Thank
away.
And then I walk over to Pen and Brienne, and I'll be like, what is that thing doing in here?
Priorities.
They look at you kind of like, oh, the
monster.
Oh, you didn't see it earlier?
No.
Oh,
Who let it in?
yes. It was in, I don't know if it's real, but it was in the dining room. They had it set up, and you could spoke in halting words. You could have a conversation with it.
Why would anyone want to have a conversation with one of them? Oh.
This is so problematic. Oh my god.
Kind of
Nobles are great.
exotic.
It's like a trained entertainment.
Oh god.
And then Rianne will kind of like elbow her brother and say, honestly, its conversation skills were better than Pen's, so.
Oh dear, I can so feel gross being in the same room as it. Do you know anything about what's going on?
You look over, since you're looking over at it, you do notice it has have a little bow tie around their neck, and you can see they're clasping like a top hat.
Oh god.
In its hand.
God.
It's just they're just kind of sitting there.
Get some fan art of that, please.
I would say we're very obviously looking at it and like whispering. Like we're not trying to hide the fact that we're whispering.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And there's no reaction. No one checked out the dining room during the night, so that's where
did we have dinner at some point?
No.
Dinner there was rotating basically courses just being served throughout the night that you could have ducked in on. Yeah, but
I can tell you now, Lucius didn't have dinner. He has a liquid diet. Okay, so I just turned to Rianne and we're like, do you guys know what is happening?
Oh, do you know?
No.
There's some sort of these Ilarials really need to step up their security. I mean, there was the fire. I know we're not supposed to talk about it, but and now this, like, what's going on?
And after the Lord Praelin's proclamation as well.
Well, that's just it. Like, these events are really going downhill, and like, who would? It's sad, really.
I think the end of the Ilarial winter balls. It's a sad occasion, but I
think Solace wants to keep these going, but they're kind of getting dated, aren't they?
Best of luck for getting anyone to come next year. Like, who would want to come to this?
Just it. Yeah, I mean, it's. Yeah.
Oh, you don't think this is part of the entertainment or something, do you?
Oh, wouldn't that be clever? Like a role playing.
Yeah,
session.
like a little murder mystery kind of thing.
Well, I wouldn't put it past them. Do you think? Oh, we should be looking for clues or something.
I don't know.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna.
It's at this point that you see Sylvain coming in from the hallway and Dier and Jenna coming down from the
Sylvain's
stairs.
still shirtless.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, Sylvain is still shirtless.
I turn to Pen and Rianne and be like, now it's a party. And then...
But where's Eliane?
I know.
Getting dressed, perhaps?
Wonder where they've just come from. And then I will head over to Jenna and Dier.
Keep us in the loop, Lucius.
No, I would never dream of not.
So I will say... Dier, was escorted up to his room so that he could change. I think he's just wearing just a shirt and pants now. He's not in a whole noble getup. I think he did sort of take his braid out, combed it, and just threw it up in like a little bun on the top of his head now. It's not braided anymore. But I would ask, Matt, if you would allow him to pause at the top of the stairs and try to catch Jenna before they both go down.
You can do that. The servants will likely overhear what you're saying.
I don't think Dier is paying attention to the fact that there are servants with them, perhaps.
Jenna would go over to Dier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I think he just looks very like ashamed that he's been caught in this whole thing about what he used to have with Maevis and didn't tell her, and is just, look, it didn't matter, right? I should have told you, but it was over by the time we met, right? Far be it from me from wanting anyone to know that she kept me like a shameful secret too. But you wouldn't know anything about that, right?
Dier, I understand. That's. Sorry, I think God, I didn't expect Dier to bring that dagger right there.
He's in a state.
Yeah. So I gotta think for a second. This is not how I thought this conversation was going when I went to the bathroom. Dier, I understand. And I think I have made some mistakes too. I would like to talk about that later, if that is acceptable to you. And I'm sorry I couldn't do more on the lake. I'm extremely proud of you, Dier. Truly. I mean that.
You were holding your own before I got out there.
I wouldn't be able to get her out of the lake.
We did what we could. I couldn't have gotten her out of the lake if she hadn't been awake down there. I don't know how I would have gotten back up. I wasn't even thinking. All I could think was that I had to get to her. I could see the steel line and I just needed to be deeper, but
you did it. You both did it. And I think
she had iron.
Yeah.
I never would have made it back out.
I think we deserve several drinks.
All right.
Or something. Anything, really.
I should have told you she wanted to meet with me tonight. I'm
not angry, Dier.
She slipped a note into my invitation, and I didn't know what she was going to say. I still don't know what she was going to say, and maybe now I never will.
We need to check on her.
Me too.
Dier, it's going to be okay. We got her out of the lake, and I'm not angry at you. Okay? I haven't really a lot of time to think, but it's fine, Dier. Let's go downstairs.
Okay. All right. Okay. Maybe you first. And
good idea.
He'll hang back a little bit so that they're
So Jenna goes downstairs
together.
So we'll say the four of you kind of congregate together naturally. I'm assuming Sylvain, or would Sylvain try to split off, or would he?
Sylvain is lost in thought and not really paying much attention to what's going on around him.
Okay. So I guess the three of you might come together, but Sylvain,
and you see,
yeah,
he's processing, and he does not have enough RAM to process what's going on in his head.
Lord Ruler Lucius. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Dier will beeline to Lucius. Yeah. Go.
Yeah. We're going right to Lucius.
Trash trio. Let's go.
Let's go, trash trio.
Finally, it's been a while.
Jenna.
Lord Ruler Lucius, where have you been?
Oh, where have I been?
Is there any update as to her status? Have they said anything?
Whose status? Lady Urbane? She's fine. She's over there.
Maevis.
Maevis?
What about me?
And he looks around and will pull Lucius aside. Have they not told anyone yet? She was attacked.
What? Maevis? Maevis was attacked?
Yes, she went into the lake.
She's in the lake? Should we go get her?
Lucius. Burn bronze. See if there are allomancers.
Burn bronze.
Good. We got her out of the lake.
Okay.
Enemy coin shot. We don't know if he's coming back, but keep this discreet, Lucius. But we don't know how she's doing. I brought her to near to the solar to warm her up, but they took her, and we've been, I suppose, interrogated. But where have you been?
They got me out of bed. Can't you believe it? Who attacked her?
I don't know that we're supposed to say.
Yes, we should. Not us. We'll talk in private. But I'll go to his ear and whisper, Vasha, dangerous coin shot.
I'm gonna think about the piece of paper I got with a buttload of things on it, and I'm gonna be like, Vasha, can I ask you guys a question? And I'm gonna come in real conspiratorial and be like,
Ew.
whose
You know something about
chess?
this?
And I'm more going to look at Dier than I am Jenna.
I think he shares a very surprised look with Jenna because he can't imagine why chess would be relevant in this situation right now. And he'll say, "Where did you hear that name, and why are you asking?"
I think if the person you said attacked him, I think that this chess individual is extremely relevant.
All right, Lucius.
Sorry. Lunarsha's bodyguard chess? That's the chess that we're talking about? He's relevant to this somehow?
I think you know why, Dier. And if
No,
not,
what does that mean?
All right, Lucius.
we need to go.
We.
Yeah,
I'll say you guys, like, there's people around, but you can find like private, like you can kind of find a corner with some
Cool.
You're still in the atrium, but you can be reasonably confident you're not being like overheard. Like,
Okay.
And I think the three of you, with the weight of 3 great houses, have enough influence that if anyone like seems like they're eavesdropping or trying to intrude,
Yeah,
we do hang out.
As we head over to the corner, I assume his servants come back with a different cup of cocoa. I'm going to take another sip, say too hot, give it back to them, and then carry on walking out.
Lucius.
Okay.
Chess is dead.
Okay.
The Inquisition wanted him dead. He died some time ago. What do you know? Chess.
Wow.
His face was burned. He was in the fire.
Chess's face was burned.
Yes, as was this assailant, Vasha.
Vasha
I have it on good
killed
authority.
You two. So, here's what I know. The night of the fire, this chess individual fought Vasha during the fire. And I have reason to believe, and I'm gonna oh no, I don't want to say this for Dier. Never mind, I'm gonna say that back. I don't say that part.
Okay, sure.
So, I have to be really careful because I want to accuse Dier of a bunch of
okay.
I don't know if it's true based on his Alyx's reaction just now. But I don't know if Alyx is just really good at pretend to be lying.
Yeah, no, if you say things to Dier, then that changes all my plans for getting secrets out.
I will say, would this be something that you could make like a wits roll to try to see if like
yes, can I do that? Can I?
Yeah, is hiding.
It would be a contest. Yeah.
Yes, can I make a contested wits roll against Dier to see if he was being legit when he was surprised at like the fact that chess would have been involved in all this?
Okay, so that's wits versus Dier's charm.
Yeah,
is how that works.
Yeah, and it's not that you're necessarily deceiving. It's just like how readable is your face, like or your demeanor.
Could I add
right.
none of this is really good for reading people. That's what I should have gone for.
I assume I roll first
Yeah.
to set the difficulty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will roll. Dier has 2 charm.
Oh, fantastic!
Ooh.
Oh, wow, you got a
Oh,
match.
he did get a pair though. That's a pair of 2s.
So I got 3
Two.
dice.
I will say you could add provocateur
Excellent.
because you need to know kind of how people
And
tick to know which buttons to press.
Yeah, and I did kind of
Mhm.
accuse Dier of not like.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, that's a 0. That's a 0. 1 nudge. Ah!
You don't know.
Ah!
So yeah,
Yep.
Dier. Something's off about Dier, but you know Dier really well, but
He's not acting like
this
he normally
year.
does.
Yeah, so you're kind of thrown off.
Okay.
What the usual tells you would look for with Dier, you're too thrown off by how different he's acting to like.
You're a
determine
little
anything.
serious right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the problem is I feel like I'm like outing some secrets that's dangerous for me to know, and I'm also kind of scared of Jenna, and now I'm also kind of scared of Dier. And so I'm like, I don't want to be like throwing accusations out.
Call in some protection.
Lucius has known Jenna for so long.
Yeah.
And Lucius knows things about Jenna.
Okay, do you know what I know what I'm going to do.
Okay.
What you got?
I'm just going to look at the two of you, and I'm going to be like, are you guys dating?
I will go in to Lucius's ear and just whisper, yes, but keep it on the down low.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Dier was like spinning up for the whole like, yes, she's going to marry me next week cover story sort of a thing, and just like sees Jenna lean in and presumably give the secret and is very
Yeah, I'll nod to Dier.
Yeah.
So
don't worry, Dier. When sharing secrets requires you to know which secrets to keep as well. And
we'll talk, Lucius.
Yeah. Oh,
What do you know about chess?
He attacked Vasha the night of the fire.
Yes, they were attacked. They were there, and Chess is related to Julian, correct?
His bodyguard. Potentially, perhaps
his brother,
bastard brother.
Yeah. Yes, I'd heard.
And I think he'll look at Jenna real quick, like now that they're not keeping that secret anymore. Potentially tied to the Ska Rebellion, if you recall. Chest.
I figured as much.
I'm going to show you guys the piece of paper I have.
Yes.
Yes. Trio, paper sharing.
That I feel bad for that Sylvain's not here.
Nope, he's not.
What I'll maybe do, because I think since Sylvain's not with them, I might bring Addison and Eliane in.
Ooh, okay.
The good trio versus the trash.
Well, you guys look at the paper that Lucius is showing you.
Mm-hmm.
We can cut to the other.
Okay.
Yes, good idea. Have fun, guys. It's in Trash Trio.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, right?
Whoa, what?
This is why I spent the last hour and a half trying to work this out.
Okay.
So,
all right.
well,
okay, we got this off to do.
Yeah, well, the Trash Trio pours over a piece of paper that Lucius has taken out of his pocket to show. Eliane, we're gonna do the next roll on the Maevis challenge.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So this is a physique roll. Maevis has a physique of 4, and then you've managed to accumulate 6 more dice.
So I'm rolling 10 dice.
Through rolling 10 dice to determine basically how is her body able to cope with the injury. I'll say she took enough damage from the attack that she would have a grave burden, likely, which could include internal bleeding. That's one of the options for grave burdens.
Mhm.
So this roll is her body's ability to last long enough for the medical aid to save. And yeah.
Yeah.
And note, we got a -1 on the difficulty, so it's difficulty
Yeah.
3 now.
Difficulty 3.
Cool.
Yeah.
Rolling
We have 10 dice.
10 dice.
10.
Difficulty
Good
3.
die. Come on.
Come on. Oh boy. Right. Roll. Oh, I got 5s.
Easy.
God,
Easy.
Fives.
Nailed it.
I got like 3 5s and like 4 4s. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he
what
gets
we
10 dice.
needed.
Is brutal.
Yeah. So
Brutal.
Clearly.
Mavis is holding. That's where we'll leave that for now.
Mhm.
And so Eliane, you guys feel you've gotten Mavis to like kind of as far as you're gonna get her.
Mhm.
There's a medic there from the garrison who doesn't have a ton of training, like not as much
But-
as you, but knows enough
keep
to
an eye
like
on things.
monitor her, keep her stable. There's guards. So you feel like and Faisal, the steward, approaches and says, my ladies, maybe you would join the other nobility in the atrium. You could probably use a rest. You've done incredible work. And Lord Ilariel passes along his gratitude. But there's refreshments, and he kind of gestures for you to go to the atrium.
Yeah. So she'll say, Eliane will say, like, no, tell Lord Ilariel that I'm glad I could be of service. And like she will turn to like the garrison medic and she's like, call me if anything changes.
Yeah.
I will be in the atrium.
Absolutely. So you and Addison head to the atrium, and you see, you see Penn and Rianne. You see some of the other guests, some of the performers. You see Dier, Jenna, and Lucius kind of talking in a corner together, the three of them. And you see Sylvain. Ian, do you want to describe what they see when they look over at Sylvain?
Yeah. He's kind of like standing like at one of the walls, just watching everyone. And Seth, his dog, is kind of like he's kind of like patting and scritching Seth's head. And it's obvious like Seth is a little agitated, like incensing like the turmoil going inside Sylvain's mind. So he looks distracted more than anything. Say.
I'll say at some point a servant has offered you a blanket. Since
I was
you
wondering.
were shirtless. I don't know if you wrapped it around yourself or not, but has probably also offered you a shirt to like fetch you a shirt. But
like if they offer to fetch me a shirt, like he will take that.
So we'll say you have like a simple, again, like not like a full, like just something like a pullover kind of tunic type shirt. Eliane and Addison come over to you.
Sylvain, is everything all right? Because she'll notice that like he's distracted, presumably thinking about things.
I think that's a question for you. How is she?
She's stable. I think, as far as we know, right, Eliane?
Yes. I don't know if there was any internal bleeding, but I did what I could, and she seems stable. They'll call me if anything changes, though.
Mm-hmm.
I did the best I could.
Thank you, both of you. And Addison turns to both of you for coming with me. I didn't know what to do, and I'm glad you were here.
Tell us again what you saw.
Maevis asked me to get Jenna so they could meet. So I did. And I stayed back in Maevis's room and watched from the window. They were going to meet at the docks. Jenna headed out there, and then some sort of altercation broke out with another person. I didn't recognize them. They seemed to be using allomancy, though.
Where were
And
they?
then Dier joined, it looked like. And at that point, she glances kind of at Eliane. I wasn't sure which side Dier was joining on, so I ran help.
Okay.
There
I was
was-
like trying to process that. So
Eliane, Sylvain has already failed a wits roll on this point, but now that you've just heard that, you roll a wits.
Okay.
I don't think you can add anything.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. Just like looking at all that. Okay. And there will be a difficulty of what?
I set it difficulty 2 for Sylvain, so it'll be same difficulty.
Okay. 3 and a nudge.
Okay.
Can I
And
bank
this makes
that?
sense that you clue into this because of a certain secret you have
Mhm.
that you haven't shared with anyone.
I haven't found no way to share any
Yeah.
secret.
But Addison is saying she's seen all this, but there's a blizzard and the mists were out.
Yep.
So Addison
know.
probably
Yes.
would have needed a little help to see those things. And Eliane knows exactly what help because
Yep.
Eliane was already
she
privy
does.
to that secret.
Which I was wondering if I could reveal earlier, but then and I was actually trying to hit at exactly that with my wording,
Yeah.
but it was hard earlier.
So at least a 10 eye.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, she is the tin eye, at least.
Sylvain did have one more question for Addison.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which was like, where was this enemy Allomancer? Where did they attack from?
It looked like he was already out on the docks with Maevis. Maevis, she's been, I don't know how much to say, but she's been working on something, and she's been looking for a lot of information. I'm worried that someone maybe feels like she's uncovered too much. But I did pass along your message, Sylvain, before.
Thank you.
So
Mm,
I think, and we can discuss Alyx and Ben. I think upon Addison and like Eliane coming out, that Dier and Jenna very much noticed that.
So does Lucius.
And
They'll want an update. Yeah. So moving back over to, well, you guys are talking over here. Our trash trio has noticed Addison and Eliane join Sylvain and come in. So do you have any reaction to
I'm going to pull in
that?
the other two and say, I have reason to believe Addison is not who we think she is.
In what way?
what?
There was pages missing from certain documents that would cover up secrets specifically for her. And I don't know why someone would do that unless she's got a lot more to hide than a minor noble like a Tenebrian would have to hide.
I believe she has a great many secrets.
Hmm.
Why don't we go ask her about some?
Why don't we?
I've always had a bad feeling about that one.
Same.
Let's go.
And so the two trios meet. And yeah, what do you guys say as you approach?
Lady Addison.
Oh,
Maevis,
how is she?
stable, I think.
Good.
Good. And I think Dier actually like gives Eliane a very genuine look of gratitude for that and just says, "Thank you. I don't know what we would have done if you hadn't been here. So thank you, Eliane."
You did this, Lady Eliane?
I mean, she will be very shy of the fact that her brother and his friends are like all thanking her and like for like the attention they never gave her throughout the years. Like it's all like there now, and so she will be a bit nervous, but she'll be like, "Yes, I had quite a bit of practice in terms of like medical skills, thanks to my brother here."
Eliane, you've saved a dear friend of mine. Of all of us. No, I owe you a favor. At some point. I genuinely appreciate it, and I will do my best to comply and assist you in some matter. And I assure I will pay the obligator to make sure that this is on the record, that I owe you this.
Eliane was incredible.
Good. Now, Lady Addison. And so Jenna looks right at Addison. You came as quickly as possible to help Maevis and I, and that is appreciated. What in the 16 tendrils of the deepness were you doing getting me out to speak with Maevis? Did you know there was someone there? I would implore you, given the danger and severity of this, that you be truthful in this matter. I merely worry about your safety with these dangerous games that are now being played. I would very much like to know, Lady Addison, why you didn't come with me.
Sylvain bristles at Jenna's tone of voice. He does not like the implication she's making. And he's not subtle about that.
It was not my place to join a private meeting between the two of you. I didn't know anyone else was going to be there. I know that, and you can see Addison's eyes, her dark eyes are kind of flicking to everyone here, and she's doing a lot of like mental math about like, okay, who knows what should I say, what shouldn't I say in this company. And she's gonna say, I think there's a lot of things that Maevis can and should hopefully speak for herself.
If she gets the chance.
I don't want to take that from her, but
do you know why
she's been investigating someone?
Who?
And she had reason to believe that you knew something about it.
Who?
And she gives Jenna a very pointed look. I think that's something you should ask Lady Maevis if she survives.
And that's what she wished to discuss? To your knowledge?
To my knowledge, yes. She had reason, according
Understood.
to her.
Very well, Lady Addison. I appreciate your honesty. Lucius has been checking his nails. And he kind of, as he goes, Addison, it's nice to hear that you've finally discovered your place in this court. But
I'm well aware of my place.
Hmm.
Lucius.
Look,
They were helpful.
I'm sure they were. However,
Well, Maevis is alive.
And whilst I do appreciate that, and I do kind of look at Eliane and kind of give her a little wink, Addison, I think you need to start telling us a bit more about what you two have been up to. What you have been up to.
If you're all such good friends of Maevis's, why wouldn't you ask her yourself?
Well, Maevis isn't here right now.
And you are.
And you are.
Well, hopefully she will be rejoining us. And then she can speak for herself. I know my place, absolutely, and it's not my place to be sharing information which does not belong to me.
And so, even though Maevis is stable and it is likely she will recover, it's gonna take her some time to wake up and be able to communicate like things clearly again. She's not gonna want us pestering her as soon as she's spoken up about this. And I think that considering everything that's happened, knowing what Maevis had been doing before, who she'd been talking to since the fire, is more important and more urgent than we have time for right now.
I absolutely concur. Jenna has wine, in case.
Yeah.
So, let me get this straight. You didn't know she was meeting with anyone else on the docks when you fetched Jenna? You thought Maevis and Jenna were going to have a private meeting? Is that correct, Miss Tenebrian?
That's correct, Lord Dier. I didn't know the details, but I got the sense that Maevis wanted to confront you, Jenna, with something irrefutable. I didn't think it would be a person when she told me that, but it's possible that might have been what she was referring to.
Jenna just says, interesting.
I hope this isn't me overstepping, but
Lucius rolls his eyes.
it would be a very different story for all of us, I think, if you two hadn't carried her in with her heart still beating based on what Maevis was wondering about.
Maevis is a lifelong friend of mine. Perhaps our friendship is stressed, but I wish her no ill will, ever. And I think you understand that now.
Were you hoping for perhaps a different picture coming out of something happening to Maevis while she was in Jenna's presence, perhaps? Did we ruin the tableau you were hoping to set up by asking Jenna to go out there?
I didn't set up anything. I did what I was told. And all I'm saying is I think Maevis would be very happy that you both acted in her interests. Because I'm not sure she knew that was what would have happened before this.
Understood. She now knows, and I intend, when she is talkative once again, to let her know that I am her friend.
I'm going to turn to Sylvain. I'm going to be like, Mr. Hadriel. Mr. Hadriel. Shame that you're wearing a shirt now. Can you creeping close to Maevis? Do you know what's been going on with these two at all?
I, as a player, need more reference on what these two you're referring.
Maevis and Addison. I'm like indicating at Addison and like the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sylvain, I'll say before you answer, Addison meets your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And you recall your conversation earlier about the type of people you're with right now and the difference in rank.
Mm-hmm.
And you see her. Again, Addison's pretty collected usually.
Yeah.
You see a moment of vulnerability from her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's being circled by sharks. And, she's worried.
I'm worried too. I'm also like, I'm not as lowborn as her, but I'm still significantly lowerborn than the rest of these people.
Mm. But you're dating a venture, so this gains a bit of respect.
I didn't even think of Eliane. I'm like, I just went straight to Dier.
Even better. Amazing.
Even better. Sylvia canon.
Nice.
Obviously. Did you see what they were doing earlier? Like up against the wall? Mm-hmm. Okay. So Lucius asked me what was going on with
do you know
Addison
more
and
about
Maevis?
Yeah, they've been up to.
They're friends. They grew close after the fire. It's a terrible event that they both survived.
Addison, speaking of surviving a fire, why were you there?
What actually happened that night? Because clearly you weren't the only ones who survived.
Mm-hmm.
What did you see that night?
Forgive me.
Mm-hmm.
Maevis and I were ordered not to say anything about what we saw that night. And as
By whom?
high-ranking as you all are, and as respectful as I am of all of your stations, I am afraid these instructions supersede.
From Lord Ilariel?
She gives a slight shake of her head, no.
Can I do a contest or whatever perception-y thing to see if Addison is telling the truth on that? With that head shake?
Do it, yeah.
I'd also, this is more flavor, that like Sylvain would like put a hand like on her shoulder, like to like reassure Addison, like, which might give her a bonus die. I don't know. I was planning on doing that before I knew a role was going to be taking place.
Nice.
So,
I like it.
but,
Technically, we would need 2 positive circumstances
Okay.
to add a dice. So even if I counted that as 1 positive circumstance. So yeah, I'll set the difficulty with Addison's roll first.
And what are we rolling against? What stats here?
So you would roll wits.
Okay, excellent.
And
Very
she's
good.
rolling charm.
Very good.
Okay, so I'll roll for Addison. She gets 6 dice for this roll.
God, these stats.
That's including traits potentially, right? So
Okay.
that's a 2.
Okay.
a nudge,
And
to break a
do
tie.
I have any traits? Can I get a bonus die for my drive, which was find out what happened to Julian?
That's fantastic.
That seems relevant.
Yeah,
You were
absolutely.
asking about the fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool. Awesome. Lovely.
Hell yeah.
Okay. And so this is a wits roll. So I'm going to give you 2 things. You don't get any sense that Addison is misleading you. She seems like she's generally in a really tight bind. That she's kind of caught between like big forces. Again, Jenna is a predator So you know when a prey is cornered, and that's the vibe that Addison is giving you. But you also remember when she's saying this, someone above your pay grade, basically, right, has told her to say anything. You remember that Verity had disclosed to you a rumor circulating that the ministry paid for the reconstruction of the Ilarial estate. And you haven't been able to work out yet why that would happen. But knowing what you know, working with the ministry, they like to play down any accomplishments of the Ska Rebellion. So after reviewing the note with Lucius,
Yep.
if you think the rebellion is involved, it would make sense to you that the ministry would want to keep it hush hush.
Lucius is gonna touch Jenna and be like, it has to be the ministry. And then he's going to put together some things about that piece of paper, which I'm assuming at some point we're put up on the screen for the audience to look at and process.
Sure.
I think as soon as you get it, the audience sees
gets
it.
it as well. Yeah. He's going to turn to Jenna and Dier and just be like, the ministry burned down the building.
Or the ministry wanted to cover up that the Ska did it.
I think we must talk to the Prelon here, wouldn't you say?
Dier looks like he's had a realization, but he doesn't want to say anything out loud. He's not a good liar, but he has this like, oh, moment, and just
what,
leans
Dier?
back. We aren't supposed to talk about what happened outside, but
yes,
I may know a little more about this than I thought I did.
Yes, I'm sure you do.
Of course. I can't talk about it here. And he like gestures to Addison, like I'm not supposed to say anything in front of her.
We will talk later.
Fine.
Are there any other questions for me, or may I grab some refreshments?
Why are you still here? One question.
Lady Addison, I would like to appreciate your honesty and the difficult place we are all in, but I just want to know that you are appreciated.
Thank you, Lady Jenna. And before we move, is there anything else people want to say in that immediate conversation?
And Dier might say the thing he thought of once Addison has walked away is the thing.
Okay, yeah. So Addison kind of takes her leave, walks away. You see her go over and grab some hot cocoa, and like she just sits by herself. She doesn't talk to anyone else, but she's taking some time to herself.
I think so. Eliane does not know who the attacker at the lake was. But
No, she doesn't.
knows that everybody else does.
Yeah.
Everyone else does.
He's like, it's fine. Eliane knows enough.
Yeah.
Sniffs out secrets anyway. He says, Vasha used to talk about the Ska when we'd go out for drinks and things. I never thought he was serious, but he did mention at times how much simpler it would be if perhaps the whole lot of them were wiped out and they started over with a new generation or something, but if perhaps he was more serious about a plan like that than I thought, maybe that's what happened that night. Maybe someone else found out about this idea.
And tried to stop him?
And tried to stop him.
Let me get this clear. Are you saying Vasha was the enemy coin shot out there tonight? What else would he have to do?
Yes. It was Vasha.
Be quiet, Eliane.
You know that I would
but
know.
Yes.
I mean, she would know how to keep secrets, and so she would not like. Of course, I imagine that we are probably some of the only people that know, other than Lord Solace.
Correct.
He was very adamant that we not let that fact spread around. So
That point, I might interject, and I'm going to make one more roll.
Okay.
So difficulty 1 or 2, and it's a roll of 9 dice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Cool.
this is a spirits roll. And so the lower difficulty is if Maevis gets that, her wounds were not severe enough that she has internal bleeding that would have been undetectable or beyond Eliane's capacity to treat. If she gets higher than the minimum, she's well enough to potentially wake up.
9 dice, I believe we said.
9 dice.
9.
Okay.
9.
and we lowered the hell out of this difficulty.
Yeah.
4, baby.
Fours and a nudge. I'm gonna pump that 4 with the nudge.
Okay.
Really.
So, as this conversation is happening, a servant approaches and says, "Excuse me, my lords, my lady. Lady Maevis is awake and has asked to speak with you." And that's where we're going to end. the
Lucius,
session.
with excitement, like grabs Sylvain's arm and just feels his bicep a little bit.
Boy, wow.
We did it. We
Piece of
stayed
cake.
Wow.
We did it. We did it, guys. Oh, that was stressful, Matt.
I was-
Incredibly stressful.
Good.
Oh, this was
Saved our
so
girl.
good.
We rolled good. We rolled
Did.
good.
Yeah,
We
we
did.
rolled real
There
good.
were some
did.
really good rolls.
Oh boy, okay. Thank you for watching our 4th episode of Diceborn, Secrets in Stained Glass. Don't forget about this week's giveaway. Will be picked next week and then announced in the next episode. Thank you to Matt for running this fantastic game. You melted my brain over here, my dude. But it's great.
You've done a little bit of planning for this, Matt.
A little bit.
I'm glad I could still surprise you after 3 weeks of you guys obsessing over
Like
it.
working stuff
Yeah.
out and we're still failing it.
I will say, audio listeners, if you want to see the letter or the murder board that Maevis had that Lucius found, we'll post that somewhere that you can see it as well.
Yes.
But it's also in the
Yeah.
video if you want to go look in
Yep.
the video.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can find the rest of us at 17shard.com for all your news, theories, and discussions and fun. You can find us on Discord, Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Spotify. And if you like our stuff, you can also support us on Patreon. Stay tuned for more, and keep those dice rolling. Bye!
Bye.
Diceborn Secrets in Stained Glass is a production of the 17th Shard, set in the Mistborn setting by Brandon Sanderson. It uses the Mistborn adventure game rule set developed by Crafty Games, including a homebrew adaptation of playtest material from their upcoming nobility supplement, The Golden Mandate. Our story features performances by Ben as Lucius Lacal, Ian as Sylvain Hadriel, Alyx as Dier Venture, Verónica as Eliane Venture, and Eric as Jenna Tekiel. Backgrounds and overlays were designed by Connor Chamberlain, with character portraits by Alyx. We also need to give a special shout out to Marvin for his work on the other animations. And lastly, our eternal thanks to Alyx for her heroic efforts in editing and post-production. So, thank you for joining us. Brace a glass, and we'll race you to the bottom.